Australia's least consistently released podcast is back once again for OnlyBands episode 8, The Telltale Head. If you're wondering why we changed the episode naming scheme, it's because Star Wars becomes unwatchable after episode 7, and we only had 2 more episodes as it is until we couldn't continue with the previous naming scheme. This time round on the podcast, we have Brizzy rock and rollers Roadhouse. Some relation to the Patrick Swayze movie, apparently. The band have recently celebrated 5 years since the release of their debut single Doghouse. So frontman Chris and their bassist Dan take us on a trip down memory lane. Let's talk about what it was like to re-record Doghouse and play their entire catalogue of songs live. The time that Chris accidentally impersonated Freddie Mercury on stage, balancing their love for old school rock and roll with more modern influences, and their love for Frank Sinatra, Kiss, Parkway Drive, and wrestling. Seeker Brewing provide the beers this time round, so big shout out to them for keeping the drinks and the conversation flowing. Alright, let's get into it.
Some blokes, we're having some jokes, having a drink. I don't know what we're talking about or what my guests are gonna think. So put up your hands, it's OnlyBands, OnlyBands podcast.
Penises.
Alright, as you heard in the intro, it's OnlyBands episode 8, The Telltale Head. As usual, I'm Quinton.
I'm Jed.
I'm Yossi.
And today we have...
Roadhouse! Yeah!
So introduce yourselves, fellas. Tell us a little bit
I'm
about
Dan, the bass player. I like to rock and party.
G'day guys, Chris Van here, lead vocals in Roadhouse. Thanks for listening.
Roadhouse. I'm going to be doing this whole podcast.
I was waiting for someone to do it all night, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, actually, one of the questions actually here is, how did you guys get the name? Is it after the Patrick Swayze movie, or...?
Well, it's an interesting story because we kept coming up with names. We must have had a notebook full of names that we were just coming up with, and it's sort of... I'm a big Doors fan.
Oh, okay. I love the Doors.
And it's just a big, oh, yeah. And then it became this sort of, is there going to be a name that all 4 of us like? And then it came to a head that Roadhouse was the only one that we'd all were like, yes, I like this name. I like it. So that's sort of the way it came. It wasn't like this brilliant, I love the Patrick Swayze movie too. I mean, the fact that Terry Funk's in it's awesome too. So, yeah there you go.
Speaking
There's the
of
first
wrestling.
one. There's the first wrestling reference.
We have to commend the Hulk Hogan original WCW t-shirt.
Right.
You'll be
Thank
able
you,
to see
brother.
the thumbnail to this video.
Beautiful.
Confused listening to it.
We've allowed another another wrestling fan on this podcast, and it's not me. So prepare for a whole bunch of wrestling talk.
I hope you understand what we're talking about half the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
Bunch
of
of
guys
guys
in
in
skin-tight pants beating the shit out of each other.
Mate, it's the most beautiful thing you ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something I learned. RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yes.
Basically wrestling.
Yes.
When I realized, I'm like, this is incredible.
That's why it's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Why is it so successful? Yeah.
It just took from wrestling.
Yeah, so Doghouse recently had its 5th anniversary / birthday. It's basically old enough to go to kindergarten now. So what was it like re-recording it for the 5th anniversary edition, I guess? And what was it like to look back on the first song that you ever released?
It's bloody crazy. Doghouse has been around since the get-go. One of the first few jams. It's one of our early songs. And fucking, it's never left the roster, hey? When you been around as long as us, you end up writing quite a few songs. And some of them just keep coming around set after set. And even amongst a sort of cult classic Brizzy band such as ourselves, this is one that the crowd fucking yell out constantly. And it's actually one of our bangers. So the opportunity to come back and re-record this, we couldn't walk past it.
No. It was even at Uberfest at the Jubilee Hotel was our first gig, and we played it there. And it was the first time we ever played any of our songs, and people were I remember there was a guy called Stuart Wenham, shout out to Stuart. He was in the crowd as soon as he heard the lyrics of the song, because he's in trouble with his missus all the time. And he's just like, yes! And he got so excited about it. So I'm like, there's something here with this one. But even bringing it back, as Chris said, is just everyone's so back on team with it, and it's amazing.
Is it a story from personal experience, or is it just it's just a common story for a lot of blokes?
I think so. Doug wrote it himself, like by himself, and then we sort of all refined it together. But it's certainly a Doug tale, and you'd have to fill that one in. I don't want to put words in his mouth or tell you anything that happened or didn't happen. So we'll have to wait for Doug to come back and do that. Yeah, exactly. So
you guys also played that show was last Friday where you basically played your entire like catalog of songs, correct? Well, firstly, what was it like? Like very few bands, I guess, would get the opportunity to do that. Basically, play all the songs they've ever written. Were there songs in there that you thought, oh, we got to play this one more, or were there songs in there where you're like, yeah, maybe that non needs a bit of work?
I've always loved all of our songs. That's something I've always thought, and I think if we put more sort of time into recording songs, they would come out a lot better. Whereas I think that we've done a couple of songs that we did really fast in recording, like a song called Magic that we play, and it's a great song and people love it, but we just haven't really hit the nail on the head with the recording of it yet. But it's an old one that we've had for a long time. We rarely play it live anymore, but every time we bring it out, everyone gets excited. So that would be one that I think that we could definitely rehash and bring back into the main catalogue. So
well, give it another 5 years and you just do a remastered album of all your favourite songs that you think need to be done better.
The Roadhouse greatest hits.
So it'll sell really
Everyone's
well
done
at the CD Record Exchange. We'll go right there.
What about you, Chris? Was there
the Roadhouse mixtape?
Who's got
just throw some like jammy little acoustics you come up with on the spot in there.
What about you, Chris? Was there any songs that you're like, oh, we got to play that one more, or others that you're like, maybe not?
Look, I think these lefties gigs, if you ever get a chance to come along, these are my favourite gigs to play, the boys and I. Because when you're playing these 45-minute hour sets and you're on a lineup of bands, you want to smash it with the bangers, but sometimes it's nice to go what you would consider your B-side, and sometimes that's where you find the magic to fucking reference that song there. But songs like I fucking love. We didn't actually get a chance. We played all of our songs bar one.
Oh no.
We're a hard rock band, Aussie rock, pub rock, whatever you want to call it. But we do a cover of this blues artist Buddy Guy. If any of you are familiar, and we do a cover of this song Feels Like Rain, and we've kind of made it our own. And like it's not even a pub rock version. It's like this bluesy little love song, and I love fucking playing this song, and that's one that jumps out to me.
Definitely, we're all big Buddy Guy fans, which helps too. As I remember, Doug and I were just in it. Like, we used to live together, and we were just lying in his bedroom, and he put Buddy Guy's like greatest hits on, and we just lied I was on the floor, and we were just listening to it, and I'm like, this is great. And he's just like, oh yeah, we could play this song. And it's like, Feels Like Rain. And then it's like, lo and behold, became like, it's one of my favorite covers to play because there's a lot of bass work in there, and I'm like, yeah, I get to play more notes.
Awesome. Would you say he's been one of your biggest influences, or even partly influences?
I would say that the blues in general is an influence on Doug and my style of playing. But
rock and roll, really.
Rock and roll
isn't it?
So we go back to the blues, but rock and roll is 100% our influence. Like, we're talking the AC/DCs and talking like Kiss for me, if anyone's ever seen me. It's just the old school 70s rock and then the 80s that came along, and we just made it our own.
Influence from your parents that really got you into like the rock and roll? Like what? It just doesn't seem as common these days that you'd start a rock and roll band.
For mine, it was definitely my dad and mum loved the Angels and Midnight Oil, Cold Chisel, all the classics there, the Aussie classics. And when I got into Kiss, my dad was a bit like, this band. But like, I remember one day he came in and it was like, he threw a Kiss CD at me and was like, here you go. And that was the day. And it was like, at least he doesn't mind like that I'm listening to music. But the more I listened to Kiss, the more my mum and dad got into Kiss, and they were like, these guys are actually really good. And I'm like, I know. I've been here.
Did you see them when they came here?
Yep, that was my fourth time seeing them, and
wow.
we were there till the very end. They had to ask me, Anthony, Doug, and our mate Ben to leave because we were singing "God Gave Rock and Roll to You" arm in arm all the way to the very end. They wouldn't we didn't want to leave.
Oh, the chat's do a cover of that as well. They're
really?
massive.
That's
They're massive
awesome.
Kiss fans too.
Yeah, that's good.
We need to get you on a chats card.
Yeah,
That'd be a cool little
I'm in.
lineup.
I'm
Actually,
in.
I could see that working.
Yeah.
We played with them at a Globe Theatre.
And Chris, what about you?
We've
Oh,
played
New
with them
Globe.
one
And
time.
New
Oh,
Globe.
I
Back in
missed
the day,
yeah.
baby.
New Globe. I saw Zombie Creek there a million
Oh, I'm
times
thinking
back
of the
in day.
wrestling.
Oh, dude, you're so
Yeah,
right.
the Grindhouse was the shit.
We played a couple of bills where they'd have
The two?
the grindhouse
Yeah.
go on the other side and the fucking bands go on
Yeah.
the other.
Man, I used to just
man.
get hammered on the Long Islands at there. It was so
Right,
good.
mate.
that's always a bad night for me. I did that the other week, and I was like, I'm having a great night. I'm cruising. I think it's a brilliant idea. Me and the missus, let's have a Long Island iced tea. Then I go, I met Tomcat. I don't remember anything about Tomcat. All I remember is being
Cat Tom?
I'm like, I wake up in like the spare bed, and I'm like, ooh, I must have done something wrong. Sorry.
So you're in the doghouse.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Back to episode 1.
Don't remember what happened.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Returning to your
The rock and roll. Like, where did your inspiration come to start a rock and roll band or be part of one?
Mine was to be a part of one. I followed local bands for years, i.e. one of my best mates here, Dan. I used to roll around being a little fanboy of the local music scene. And I had just a goal of being like, I'd love one day to do one song in front of be in a band and play to fucking 10 cunts. That'd be fine, you know? And basically joining a band, I started going on Gumtree. I was playing fucking mediocre guitar. I was answering Gumtree ads, jamming around. And soon enough, one of the bands I'd been following, Dan's old band Pyromance, had broken up, and Dan, one of my best mates, was like, well, look, me and the rhythm section of this old Pyromance band are starting a new one. And it was like Dan chose to bring in me, and Anthony brought in Doug, and
That's it. But I mean, the way it went, it was Chris and I and a few of our mates. Like we watch the footy over at Chris's Chris's dad's place, I should say. We go because his dad's also a massive footy fan. Shout out Steve. So we go over there and watch the footy, and then after the game, the Broncos game's finished, we would go downstairs to Chris's room, and we'd all just jam. Like it would just be like, Chris has got acoustic guitar, he's got an electric guitar there. I'd bring my bass around, and then Chris would just start singing, and I'm like, you know, at the start it was like, there's good pitch there, there's good power there, and then Chris just kept singing. And then he kept singing and singing and singing, playing keyboard and doing everything, and I was like, yeah, he's ready to go. It's like not like I'm like touch of God, and I go, yes, now you're ready. But it was like it dawned on me that like the singing was perfect for what we were going to do. So
Thanks,
it makes
brother.
sense. That's
yeah,
what
I never thought I'd be a front man or anything like that. And it's like one of these things. I'm fucking one of these people, like, I think this is important for anyone. Opportunities come your way.
Oh, for sure.
And you got to, like, generally, obviously weigh up the pros and cons, but generally not being afraid to say yes to opportunities that come your way. Even if you fuck up and it's not the best, you still learn. Yeah, and you learn you did something new and it was, you know, like...
What are you going to remember when you're dying? It's like all the opportunities you took, not the ones
Yeah.
you didn't. Or you're
Yeah.
going to remember the ones you didn't and be like, fuck, should have taken
Very
that.
wise.
What's the saying is like every opportunity you don't take is a missed opportunity.
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, basically.
Yeah.
Is that Rocky?
It's something to live by, honestly.
See, I run my own businesses and do my things, and we've actually got different philosophies on opportunities. So we get a lot of opportunities. It's very hard to decide what's a good opportunity and what's not, because sometimes you can take one and then you'll just waste a shitload of time on something dumb. But the thing we know is if you say no to an opportunity, there's always another opportunity. We look at it as like a bus. So there's always another bus coming by your station. You can jump onto that bus at any point. So opportunities always are coming. Just make sure you can take them.
Yeah, just don't get on the one that smells like homeless people.
You never know. You just never know what's a good opportunity.
No,
And
you know, maybe
that makes
maybe
sense.
you'll meet
That
a
makes
cool
sense.
homeless guy on the bus, Jen. He'll
that's
you know,
right, that's
score
right.
you some bomb-ass drugs, and the reason he's homeless because
Start a
he
new
spends all
rock
his money
band.
on them.
I've always had a name for a band that me and my mate came up with called Dog Shot.
Dog shot.
Dog Shot. When we said Doghouse, I was like, you guys need a song called Dog Shot.
I feel like Dog Shot's a very dad fight sort of.
It was a hardcore band name. So.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Doug and I have our own side punk band that we're going to start when we were drunk and we just decide we're going to do it, Scottish mosh pit.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
Tough.
that's it has to be tough if you're a
It's
punk band. It has
pretty
to-
much fucking idols.
Exactly. So
my punk band, which will happen by the time I'm about 35, 40, we're working on it. We're going to be a pop punk cover band, but we're going to be called the Sackwax.
oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. I used to get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. We're the Sackwax, and we're dads here just playing some Blink-182, you know?
Yeah, perfect.
The modern cover bands, you know, we're no longer going to be doing AC/DC and Zeppelin and
What?
Guns N' Roses. Well, it's going to be less common. It's going to be less common.
Is it?
I think
What
so.
are people going to be doing? What's the?
It's all been like
We're gonna be
15,
doing
20
like
years.
You're gonna
Green
want to
Day,
play
Blink,
nostalgia,
Offspring,
Violent Soho.
Linkin Park.
Yeah,
You know,
that
that's
makes
going
a
to
lot
be
of
our
sense.
generation's quote classics.
It's My Life by Bon Jovi. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love Bon Jovi so
me
much.
too, me too.
He was the first artist that I ever fell in love with.
Oh.
I saw him for the first time when I was, I think, 12? No, 15. I was 15. My dad took me to Sydney and saw Bon Jovi down there, and I remember it was just amazing. It was the most beautiful experience I'd ever
so
had in
good.
my entire life.
So good.
And then he came back to Australia, and he played in Sydney because I lived in Taree, just a few hours from Sydney. He played 3 days after I turned 18. So I got a bunch of mates together. We all bought tickets. We went down to Sydney. We did a pub crawl for my 18th. And then we went to the Bon Jovi concert. And it was amazing. And I think it was the Circles tour.
Yep.
And he had like the entire stage was built as a massive Cadillac.
That's
Like
so
they were
cool.
playing in the grill of a Cadillac.
Oh
it was
my god.
so amazing.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Showmanship
What was everyone's
when you-
first gig?
Well, our first gig, my first gig was actually with Chris, which is really funny. And it was super interesting. So it was Gigantua 2007. It was Megadeth, and Devil Driver, Static X, Lacuna Coil.
Was that
Am I
before
pronouncing
the
that
dude
right?
from Static X died?
Yes,
Yeah.
Wayne
Oh,
Stanek was
that's
there.
cool.
Wayne Stanek was there.
And before the bassist got arrested for rape or
we saw
something?
the original
I
bass
don't know if you
player.
heard about this.
Not
Yeah.
No,
That's-
he's
that's
not
Steve.
a very bad guy. Very bad guy.
Yeah.
Very bad guy. And then Bring Me the
Bring Me the
Horizon.
Horizon.
Were the first
The early deathcore days.
dude.
but
See-
so good.
Fucking
Yeah.
cringes
Good.
today.
I don't even listen to their new stuff. I remember I was with a girl once, and she was like, "I love Bring Me the Horizon." I'm like, "Do you?" Because she doesn't look like the type. And I'm like, "Yeah." And she put some on. I'm like, "This isn't it." So I put on Paper Plagues, and she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "This is Bring Me the Horizon." I'm like, "Is there two bands called this now?" And no, they just changed.
They
the style.
changed like
Yeah.
a lot.
The production
That was some good
incredible,
metalcore, hey.
Yeah,
but listenability,
like I don't
Like
know.
regular listenability.
I just go back to like Count Your Blessings. That's just
Yeah, no,
if I'm
no,
listening
yeah.
to them, that's what I'm listening to.
I like their newer stuff more from like maybe 5-6 years ago over the stuff they're bringing out now. But I'm not like really into like the real hardcore stuff. So the old stuff was never my sort of style. I'm getting more into it nowadays. But over the last couple of years, I saw them at the Entertainment Centre in 2018, 2019 when they played.
Yeah.
And that was sort of like just coming into their new stuff now. But all the stuff just before that in the previous 4 years was the more stuff that I really got into. And that was a really good show.
Yeah, cool.
The production was incredible. The lighting was awesome.
Yeah, it was-
the mosh pit was fucking wild.
They finally got rid of the tiger that they squeezed the nutsack at the back.
Yeah.
Was that also your first?
Well, yeah.
gig,
What about
What's
you,
yours, Chris? I keep taking
What was
it.
your
I just want to say real quick, I really respect like the evolution of genres and things, and like, you know, as you age, you start wanting to play new music and
for
listen
sure.
to music, play new music, and that's a really good example, Bring the Horizon, of them just like going
going
different
the other way.
directions and embracing more pop, you know.
Yeah,
So
there's also the level of
sentiments and
staying
stuff.
relevant if you want to keep it as a career.
Yeah.
Because like once you sort of if you don't get up to like AC/DC level, then you can't keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Because if you want to stay relevant, you've got to keep up with the trends.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to give it up and just keep doing what you're doing and go get a day job, you need to be relevant.
Actually,
I
had
just think of
started.
Parkway Drive, to be honest. There, like that sound changed a lot, but it's still kind of grounded in who they
Yeah,
were.
right.
But man, I miss like Horizons and
Yeah.
Deep Blue and stuff.
I
like that
love
metalcore
Revenants
was
is
sick.
good. I thought
I
that was a
enjoyed the new
brilliant
albums.
album.
I like Revenants a lot.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
brilliant album.
The new album's not too bad as
It's
well.
not. Yeah, I
I
was
love
a bit
the
like I was a bit
I love
much
the
for me.
ballad with Winston with the whistling.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
fucking
that's cool.
phenomenal to
That's
listen to.
just beautiful music, but very talented.
I remember my first gig, and it's a fucking banger. I got
Wiggles?
punched in the head at in the mosh pit. I would have been like
At the
15,
Wiggles.
16. It was Bleeding Through, Carpathian, and Every Time I Die.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. It was like one of these. Oh, look, they did an all-ages show, and it was in the valley somewhere.
It
But
might have
this
been
was
the
back in
old
the day.
hall.
I lived in Belbarry, fucking
Club 299.
maybe, man.
Yeah.
Or it was like
Festival Hall?
Rosie's or something.
No, Festival Hall
Rosie's,
closed
oh,
down
yeah.
ages ago
Yeah, but this
before
would have been
then.
when you were 15.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm 32 now, so 17 years
Oh,
ago.
maybe
Oh,
just,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It might have been the last days.
Either way, it was
Festival.
like a smallish fucking hardcore club or
Yeah.
Lisa playing it that night.
Might have been the PC
And getting my
Wisely.
first, it was my first experience being in this scene. I fucking loved it, man.
Yeah.
And getting in the mosh and people. You guys have been hardcore dancing?
Yeah.
It's the most
Oh,
ridiculous.
yeah.
My
No.
dad would fucking laugh his head off when he found
Yeah.
out what this shit was.
I
And
tried
either-
once, but I was just like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't like.
My
dude,
limbs don't
I can
twist like
two-step, but it's fucking it's one of these ridiculous like
Yeah.
It was fun.
things to look back. But I loved it, eh?
Yeah,
And
it's
either
fun.
way, that was a claim to fame, getting punched in the head.
A little bit. It
Yeah,
feels like it
dude. I was
belonged.
like,
Yeah.
I got in. You know.
I got
Yeah.
in.
I totally forgot about bleeding through.
It's a rite of
eh?
passage, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, far
I,
out.
It's a rite of passage getting punched in the head.
Yeah, I think so.
You
Mine
haven't,
was,
you haven't been to a hardcore
Parkway
gig unless
Drive.
you've been hit before.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
Which one? Sweatfest?
No, it was just a bit before it, actually. It was their tour at River Stage as well.
Yeah.
But it was with Architects, August Burns Red, and maybe one other band, but that was the lineup. It was It's now you're like, holy
tasty.
shit,
Yeah.
bro. And that was my first gig, and my dad picked me up. I had like footprints all over me and shit. I was like boosting cunts up.
Oh,
and
yeah, of course.
all this,
That's
and
fucking
man,
fun.
I came out so battered and bruised, like I've never felt before, and I was like, yeah, that was sick. I'm doing that again. And then trying to figure out like how the fuck am I going to call my dad and tell him where I am in the city and shit. Like, and anyway, I got there in the end, but he was like looking at me like, what the fuck did you do?
What about Jed, Quentin? You guys?
My first proper like over 18s gig was DZ Death Rays at the Trifford on the Pollyanna tour. I had my glasses crushed in the mosh, and I actually sort of had a similar experience with Yosef when my parents the next day were like, "What the fuck happened to your glasses?" And I was like, "I got a fucking
I had the
story to
best
tell
night
you."
ever, that's
Yeah,
what.
but that's why I wear contact lenses at gigs now because
Makes sense,
I'm an absolute fucking menace, and if I was wearing
Dude,
my
you're
glasses,
in
I
there.
would've-
We know
I
it.
would have fucking broken my glasses a million times if I hadn't switched to wearing contacts. So that was my first proper over 18s gig.
Quentin's a legend in
He
the
either
scene.
wears
for anyone
contacts or he
who's
goes, "Hey,
listening,
Jed,
by the
can you
way.
hold these?"
Crowd surfing at any crowd you might, any fucking gig you might be at.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Stay
So,
tuned for the DZ video.
Oh yeah, DZ Death Rays Paranoid single coming out very soon.
Nice.
There's
Probably
a,
by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah, there is a suspiciously familiar person starring in that music video. who
Quentin
shall
shaped
rem-
shadow.
He's got a body cam on his chest and his crowd
Fuck
surfing.
off.
Oh, mate, love it.
Yeah, I did it at the last Violent Soho show. You guys were playing in the Rick's Bar bloody backyard when that same night. I remember
right on.
because
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
a group meet up there, and I saw you guys were playing. And I was like, "Oh shit, it's Roadhouse! I haven't seen them in ages."
Yeah. Four us around.
Yeah. My first show was that Bon Jovi show when I was 15.
Yeah, nice, mate.
I mean, I went to the Wiggles when I was a kid, but first actual concert was Bon Jovi, and like my dad took me, and it was just absolutely mind blowing, and it was like kind of like tingled a little bit in me that was just like, you know what, this is sick. It was like
Really
my
touched Jed.
yeah, like I grew up in a small country
it.
town. Like
I
I
get
didn't
it.
we never got live music apart from just those really shitty old blokes who were doing the cover bands that were like terrible, but it was the best thing you'd ever seen because it was
I get
still
it,
live
mate.
music. And then it wasn't until I moved to Brisbane when I was 19 that I started going to like festivals and actually getting around the music scene in Brisbane. That's when I actually started really getting into music. Because before that, all I ever listened to was like Bon Jovi, Meatloaf,
Yes.
50s rock and roll music that my
Yeah,
dad was
way to go.
into. All that kind of stuff. So I never had much of a music experience. Like my sister used to listen to like Panic at the Disco and all the pop punk emo stuff growing up, which is like the only sort of music influence I had until I was about 18, 19, apart from the stuff from my parents. So I've got a very diverse range of music that I like, and I'll pretty much listen to just about anything. Like to the point where I'll listen to Mozart to go to sleep sometimes, and I think
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's
good
Yeah, definitely. I hope that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm not
great.
going to sit here and not go, Mozart isn't fantastic.
Yeah, no.
It'll make me a terrible musician.
Yeah. No, but it's still nice to listen to. It's
sucks.
good background music.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
If the world was collapsing and you could both save one album each, what album would you save?
Oh, do you want to go
Here you
first?
go.
Hang on, of theirs or somebody else's?
Kiss Alive, the first one. Just
Man,
yeah,
you're that big of a Kiss fan.
100%.
That's crazy.
Mate, that's the only way to go for me.
That's fair enough.
What about you,
I
Chris?
think I'd go. The one that jumped out at me is Killing with a Smile, Parkway
Oh
Drive.
yeah, that's
that's
a
good.
classic.
That
Cry
was
me a
like-
fucking river, bitch. I'll never forget that album. Hey,
Oh,
that
it's
line.
crazy.
When you're a kid and you hear that, you're like, ah, yeah.
It was incredible, like growth from, like, because I remember Don't Close Your Eyes and was into that and like old, well, for me, the influence for hardcore and metalcore was I had some older friends who were into it, and I was like, oh my god, this is like fucking rage-inducing like power through my fucking chest, and when like listening to Don't Close Your Eyes and then growing to like Killing with a Smile, for me that was like just the production once again, and then all the songs on it were just like super solid.
So you'd listen to that for the end of your days.
Yeah.
I think so. It'd be up there.
wild.
Give me
So bad
AD,
choice.
Yeah,
Cold
we'll be in
Day
the
in
nuclear
Hell.
wasteland and we'll just hear
Yeah.
Parkway blaring somewhere.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, oh, well,
And-
at least that survived.
Maybe I'm a fake fan. I haven't listened to it as much as I've gotten older. I guess as I've aged, I've just like that fucking part that's craving hard, fucking crazy breakdowns is less.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but like, look, you just, I
grow.
still need that every once in a while, but like, and let alone the bands that have taken these influences and rolled with it. It's like there'd be so much awesome hardcore and metalcore out
Oh,
there
man.
these
Oh,
days
it's
that
hard
I'd
to
just be
find.
oblivious
It's
to.
hard to find any hardcore or like metal band who in Australia, like in the recent few years, who haven't been influenced by Parkway Drive.
Yeah.
Well, I think Parkway
Yeah.
is like the biggest heavy metal band to ever come out of Australia, and probably one
Yeah,
of the biggest in the
basically,
world almost.
yeah.
They're the new Metallica, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Because like I never realized how like I've known Parkway since I was in high school,
Yeah.
but never like got super into their sort of stuff. Like there was a few mates that I had in high school that were into Parkway Drive, Bullet for My Valentine, like Dope and all that sort of stuff, and they were starting their school band, but like in Tyree that was nothing, and they practiced like 4 times and never did anything again. But yeah, I knew who Parkway were then, and I've obviously listened to them over the years, and I love a lot of their music. But it wasn't until I was studying music business, and my lecturer, he was actually the drummer from an old heavy metal band from the 90s. And he used to always refer to Parkway Drive as like the most influential heavy metal band in Australia.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
they made the most money. They've
Yeah,
been the most
unequivocally,
popular.
yeah.
Like hands down, just the biggest band to come out of Australia that wasn't just popular music.
Yeah. Did your guys? Did anyone here watch the documentary they
Yeah, I
did for the
watched it.
ABC?
Viva the
Oh,
Underdogs
it's
or
yeah.
the new
No,
one?
no,
they,
the,
Been meaning to.
it was about. They did a
Today-
recent
the-
one
what's it
on
called?
ABC's full Australian
Horror
Story.
Story.
Australian Story on ABC.
Really?
30
While
minutes.
while
my
you know
God.
they were such an influential band, I didn't think there was a lot of drama behind the scenes. But as it turns out, no, there was a lot of fucking tension. And when COVID hit, they decided to just do they were like, oh, shit, we can't tour, so we're gonna do a new record, which ended up being a Ducker still. Yeah. But like when they were like, oh yeah, because we couldn't tour, we just decided to do another record. I was like, oh no, and like doing that record caused like all of their like internal tension to just fucking explode, and they had to go to group therapy to stay together as a band.
You know Piggy, the bass player? The blonde fella? Yeah, he was not a paid member of the band.
Oh, he
until
wasn't
the
a
other
full
year.
member of the
He
band,
was
yeah.
just a touring member for like all of those
17
years.
years, something like that. Yeah.
They also have no contracts with any of their managers or promoters. It's all handshake deals. Like they're the most down to earth fucking like they're all just trust. Like they never did contracts. That was like the biggest point that Rodney used to make. But yeah, so the band that he used to drum for is Alchemist. If you guys know them.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know who that.
Yeah, and so he'd always use like some of his videos as like examples in the lectures and stuff like that. But for the most part, he'd always refer to Parkway Drive because he's like one of his favorite bands.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And after
Parkway-
watching that doco, I was like, just watching like videos of them now, I'm like, shit, these guys were like at each other's throats, but they still managed to put on such an amazing sort of show.
Yeah, professionals.
I
They
wouldn't
got
say
through
they were
it,
at
mate.
each other's throats. It was more like they
It was
just were
just-
uncomfortable around each other because roles weren't quite defined.
Yeah, they couldn't. Well, they said they couldn't fucking like just look at each other by the end of the recording of that latest album, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
But I got into Parkway as a fake fan. All the cool kids at school liked Parkway, and I wanted to fit in. And I'm a wog boy, so like listening to heavy things is not really what you do.
Until you did.
Until I did. And then I had to like learn to like it as well. Like, and then eventually something hooked me. And Gimme AD was one of them.
Yeah.
Carry on fucking destroyed me.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
So like, and that's how I slowly did. And then I had to start getting into other things. And it was like, eventually you found A Day to Remember and you're like, yeah, this is a little more accessible because I was always like a kid who liked pop punk. Like I loved Blink and Sum 41. And so sort of that kind of came through with A Day to Remember. And then the whole scene made sense to me. I was like, I get why you scream now.
Just want to intervene here. You see that Sum 41's doing a tour with fucking Teenage Jones?
Yeah,
it's just a one-off Melbourne show. But
but they're doing
Teenage
Offspring.
Jones.
I think it's the 12th, 13th, 14th of December.
Yeah,
there.
but the fact they're playing with the Teenage Jones, I thought that was just such a great experience for them as well. Because like they've only been in the scene for what,
3 years?
3 years,
3 years, yeah.
Like, you know, start of COVID, they started sort of making waves, and then just have since blown up like crazy, and now they're playing with Sum 41. Like, that's got to be a dream for so many bands who've been playing for God knows how many years.
Yeah.
And these guys they just turned 18, what, last year or the year before?
Year before, yeah.
Yeah, like, fucking great work, guys, honestly. Like,
we'll get them on
kill
at
it.
some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, enough Parkway talk. We've definitely given them a few shout-outs. Quick fun fact.
We're all big fans.
Winston's sister was a student teacher at my high school, which was funny as.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she was hot as fuck.
Do you remember a Melbourne band called the Berserker? No. They used to wear masks. Chris showed me them. Industrial Deathcore. And that we went and saw them live in Brisbane at Club 29. Shout out 299. Shout out to them. But I think we paid $12 to see them. We were so excited, and there was like 10 to 12 people there, and we were like all just maniacs. Like, we were just like all crazy.
It's not always about how many people.
It's
really
not.
not.
It's really mental.
Really not.
But I remember the lead singer was this like to me he was this angry, like crazy guy, and then I met his cousin who was dating a friend of mine, and then she's like, "Oh, he's just a big Star Wars nerd." I'm like, "Don't ruin this for me."
He was a big Vader fan though, so he just got pissed, you know.
Yeah, that's
so. What made you guys start playing instruments? What was your inspiration to start? Like, I think you were saying before that you started, like, you wanted to sort of get into that. Is that what made you start learning how to play guitar?
Fuck, man, that's a great question. I think I really love learning new skills of any kind, and I think it's along that line of like trying to get into music and stuff. And it's like, fucking, we did a bit at school, you know, grade 8 public education. You have to do music.
Yep.
And
I didn't.
Really? I did. I remember we had to
yeah.
play a little bit of guitar, sort of learn how to play drums, and I was fucking dog shit at it.
Yeah, I had to, but like I was never interested. Like, I played bass in the school band for like the thing we had to do at the end of the year kind of thing, and the only song that we had to play was All Star by Smash Mouth.
Yeah, Jed can still play
so
that.
That's the only song I ever learned on bass.
It's still relevant.
Yeah, and like I started getting
relevant, really.
I took bass lessons for 6 months, and I still never learned anything else.
Yeah. Sometimes when me and the missus are like, you know, getting naughty, and she's like, put some music on, I'm like, okay, Alexa, play the Shrek soundtrack.
Perfect.
I'm not kidding.
What about you, Dan? How did you get into it?
Well, I've been listening to rock my entire life. Like, I started, so the story of me getting into Kiss is, my mum and dad told me the story. I was sitting in my high chair in the back of our Commodore, and we were riding down the street on Triple M comes on.
This is easily the most Australian story I've heard.
I think this should just be lyrics, to be honest.
Perfect.
It would be Chat's lyrics.
Yeah, no, it sounds like Amon's childhood.
And they're like, so I think it was either Rock and Roll All Night or I Was Made for Loving You, and I just started smacking the back of my head into my high chair. And mum and dad was like, oh God, here we go. But again, to my parents' credit, they always flooded me with music. So every Sunday after the football, mum and dad would put on a vinyl. Like, just like proper vinyl, and we'd listen to whatever it was, and I just remember being so excited about that after the footy. It would be like, oh yeah, it's so good. So once I started turning like 11 and 12, I was like, well, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to play guitar. I didn't really take it. I mean, I didn't really get good until about 15, 16, and I started really getting into metal and stuff. But I mean, I used to just pretend. Like, I can look back on myself and go, oh, you like the idea of it, but you didn't really practice. And then something clicked in my brain, and I just went, I'm going gangbusters on this, and just went for it. And
this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Never look back.
I respect the Nembaks, Dan's parents, for they really support it, like support. You can hear it there. It's like noticing what your son's into, and like even if they didn't love Kiss per se, but then they'll go and support these things in you, and they're always there. We call it the Roadhouse family at a lot of Roadhouse gigs, and I know bands call it their fans, their family and stuff at all time, but fuck it, at Roadhouse, you will see my mum and dad. You'll see my mum, like you will. But fucking everyone's getting loose and partying, man. And like, plus fuckloads of other people who all get in. Like, it is a bit of a family element to Roadhouse, which I really love. It's wholesome. It's party, man. It's really good. Like, it's one of these things. These are some of the... I see my parents more at gigs than I do sometimes at... I'll catch them,
sometimes I'll see
family
Steve,
events
Chris's dad, more often than he will because I go over to his dad's place to watch the footy.
It's really cool that you guys say that because like you speak to a lot of bands and like there's a lot of like the sort of newer age punk rock bands that are like have that sort of like separation from their family and their parents, and that's why they sort of got into that kind of stuff, and they don't have that same
the
connection.
opposite experience for me because I feel like a lot of the older bands, their parents don't approve so much. But every modern punk band I've met, their parents tend to be really supportive.
Yeah,
I sort of think to
Because
my
younger generation, they're being raised by not boomers. It's just the generation after the boomers.
yeah, Generation
right.
X and Gen X are like, fuck, I miss this. Oh, cool, my kid's doing it. Well, I guess I'm the first one in line.
Yeah.
Where's my old leather jacket?
Do you guys remember when you were young? I don't think these two boys will, but we used to line up to get tickets. Did you ever get tickets locally? I remember getting tickets from Rebel Sports.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember Rebel
like
Sport.
actually doing it, but I do remember ads back in the day were like, you'd better fucking be there.
Rebel
box office,
Sports,
yeah.
the
Ticket Tech
hypermarket
outlets,
picket
right?
pay.
Oh yeah, I do remember those just. Yeah.
Yeah, and I read an article the other day of someone going, we should go back to that because now you have all these overpriced gig tickets because everyone's online trying to just snipe them up.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if you waited in line, you would meet all the fans, you'd see them all.
Violent Soho did that a couple of years ago for their secret shows. I lined up
Trav lined up for
some
me.
people had been there by fucking 5 a.m. lining up outside Rocking Horse. I got there at 7 a.m. I joined my mates in the line, and everyone who arrived after 8 wasn't getting a fucking ticket basically. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. Like with the Blink tour that just got announced, Blink 182 tour. Not Travis, who's the singer? Tom, yeah. Apparently he posted on...
Mark. You're talking about Mark.
Yeah, Mark tweeted just after the tickets went on sale, apologising because I think Ticket Tech were charging... The more people that were on the server on the website at the time, they were actually
Ticket
charging
prices
more
went up.
for
Yeah,
the
it was
tickets.
Ticketmaster.
fucking gouging.
Yeah.
So in the US,
Right.
Ticketmaster has this scaling thing. They increase tickets depending on demand.
Gouge.
And Mark couldn't buy tickets. He couldn't get them himself.
He was just like, oh shit, like how does the system where he's like, I can't even get tickets, and
I'm in the band.
yeah.
So
I got a ticket though. I got 3. I got front row. I paid $450 each, and my balls hurt.
Jesus Christ.
But like all of these companies that are like...
My Kiss is Blink and Rise Against, and they're literally playing that same show together.
BC
I feel that.
BC from June Rats, he actually bought Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne tickets, and he's gonna follow them around pretending he's on tour with them.
Yeah.
I might do that if my money allows me to.
It's like Enter Shakira doing a tour in
Hopefully this
Australia at the
podcast
moment.
takes off for you, mate.
I've got another one.
Oh,
so,
even better.
yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, Enter
Friendly Aussie
Shakira...
podcast, The Fat, listen to it.
Oh, perfect.
Enter Shakira is doing a Australian tour at the moment. One of my mates from New Zealand, he's obsessed with them. So he's bought tickets to every single Australian show, and he's flying over on. Actually, I think he's in Melbourne at the moment. He's flying up to Brisbane on Saturday, and we're going to the Sunday show together. And yeah, he's going to every single one in Australia. He's there. He's like his idol band, and I was like, I remember a few of their songs from back in the day. Never paid any attention to them. So for the last couple of days at work, that's all I've been playing at work.
Yeah, so get some good.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm coming
with.
with you. I wasn't
Want
gonna
to know some songs?
Yeah. I'll learn a few of the songs. We'll go. We'll have a fucking good time.
Yeah.
And like after listening to their whole catalog, I was like, you know what? There's a few songs here that I've definitely heard before in my life, and I remember them vividly. So I was like, yeah, I can get around this. So
That's super interesting. So I'm seeing Fozzy, which is
Yes!
Chris Jericho's fan.
Y2J.
Y2J. So yeah,
Top 5 for me.
I got VIP, so I get to meet him because I'm just that crazy. And
we
I
just
hope.
leave you two in the room together.
Continue, but I've got a question after this, which
The
sort of relates
Judas
to
song.
Oh,
Fucking
so
number
yeah,
one.
basically, I got into them like super late. So I think when Are You Gonna Start a War came out was when I was like starting to notice how good they were getting and how good this is going to be. And then then Judas came out, and then the new album Boombox came out, and I'm like, this is all good. It's all good. And then now I'm like, I have to go back and listen to the early stuff because now I'm like, oh, I don't want to be one of those guys who only went to play the new stuff, and like they're all
play
like,
Judas.
yeah,
Oh,
play
man.
Judas. I can't wait for
I went
Judas.
to a Fozzy gig a couple of years back.
Was
I was
it-
a little let down.
Was that one at Triffid? Yeah, I was there. I was there.
Gig, great. Crowd, terrible.
I remember being like, I was sick with a cold. And
I was
like,
a bit unwell.
And I was like, I'm just going to sit at the back, I'm going to chill out. And then they opened with Judas. So I immediately sprinted in and expecting to be like
Bumped.
bumped or pushed
Yeah,
away.
nah.
And no one gave a fuck. So I was just like, move my way in.
It
And
was
then I'm
full
like,
of very awkward wrestling nerds, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
And
that was all. It was all wrestling fans.
Yeah,
and
it
no one
wasn't-
gave a fuck about the music.
I was like, this is shit. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted some actual music people, but I remember that night it was so stationary. My legs locked up a little bit. Like,
Yeah, because no one was
Moving,
jumping,
there's no
no one was
movement.
doing nothing. Jericho was like giving us everything.
He was so
I remember,
good.
what's the guitarist name? Rich Ward.
Yeah.
He was giving like his. I couldn't stop looking at his dance moves with his guitar. I'm like, this is
They
mesmerizing.
put on like an A+ performance.
easily.
You were like, holy shit! It's like it doesn't matter if it's a room of 1 or 1,000. Like they gave you the same performance.
Everything. It was
It was
like,
fun. It was
so
it was
good.
man.
The bass player, I found his baritone, like the really low notes, really off-putting. But I think it worked for like the sound of Fozzy. But I was a bit like, what? But it was like, and then I'm like, oh, no, that's probably what I should be doing as the bass player. Probably singing a little low, but that's okay. I'm learning as I go. It's fine.
All right, so one last question before we launch into the beer tasting. Is there a dream band or act that you'd want to tour with, either inactive or active?
and it can't be Kiss.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because I mean, that's
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's next year, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Well, they're done now, but I want to go like something that, I mean,
Bring Me the Horizon.
no, but like it would be some of them sort of people. I'd love to tour with Troy Casadale, but that's just I'm a big country fan growing up in the country. I love Lee Kernigan and like I love the good country music. So
Little bit of
Slim Dusty, if he was there, if
Oh,
Slim Dusty
yeah.
was still kicking, like and you said inactive too. Let's go Slim Dusty.
Yeah, all right.
For the king of country.
Would you bring the wobble board out for that?
100%.
Yeah.
I'll learn how to play the slide. Like
Yeah.
the lap slide guitar for that. I reckon I can pull that off.
What about you,
I
Chris?
play pretty good slide guitar, actually.
Yeah.
So that'd be a pretty easy transition for me.
I want to. I don't know how well we'll vibe fucking musically, but I want to play with System of a Down. I reckon.
That'd be cool. That'd be
How does it
awesome.
like?
Actually, I'll take that. I'll do that too.
Yeah.
That's one of those bands that's like I've never seen and I'm just like dying to.
Right.
I've never seen him either.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I was just about to say before as well. There's a festival in Vegas next year called Sick New World, and System of a Down are headlining that with Korn, Deftones, Incubus, Evanescence, Turnstiles.
It's a hell of a line.
So yeah, I'm honestly considering going. It's like March next year.
Dude, I
Yeah.
think I saw that fucking
Where's that?
tour poster,
In Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
So on
Okay, that makes sense. It's
the
like,
Las Vegas
it's not
yeah.
in, not in Mackay.
Saturday, May 13th.
We've got Snotfest coming though, which is
That's
pretty
true.
exciting.
Yeah,
Snot Fest. Not Fest.
Snot Fest or Not Fest.
Not Fest. Not Snot Snap.
I think Snotfest has a better ring to it.
So my mate messaged me the other day and he goes, "Are you going to Slip Fest?" And I was like, "Do you mean Not
Not
Fest?"
Fest, yeah.
And he's like, "You know what I mean?" And I was like, "I do, but like if you're trying to promote it to me, get it fucking right."
I've had like 5
Wait,
people
no,
message
maggot
me
bastard.
about like, are you going? And I'm like, I think I'm seeing Jimmy Barnes at the Sandstone Point Hotel at like the Bribey up there.
Yeah.
They're playing like Baby Animals and like heaps of good acts. And I'm like, I think I'm just
seeing
doing
the
same
Angels,
thing.
Baby Animals, Susie
Yeah.
Quattro
Love it.
in 2 weeks at Sandstone Point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, I went up there for the
Chocolate
Seafood
Starfish.
Festival. And the Seafood Festival was awesome. I was like, a bit at first, I'm like, what is going to go on at the Seafood Festival? And then my girlfriend's like, it's going to be awesome. And I go there, there's like oyster eating competitions, prawn peeling competitions. And I'm like, that's lame. Then I get there and I'm like in the front row going, yes, peel it. And like, I got, but to be fair, there was a lot of cocktails going on, but I very much enjoyed myself.
Tell us over 30, right?
Mostly, it was either children or the nearly dead. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So launching into the beer tasting now. Which beer do we have for?
So we're going to start off with, so first of all, I want a big shout out to Seeker Brewing. Thanks to Ben for giving me a bunch of beers for this one. We've actually got 4.
Ben.
Thank you,
We got
Nice,
4 for
Ben.
this one. Love you, Ben. You're a bad dog. Yeah, so we're going to start out with the Rad Pale Ale.
Okay.
Alright.
What's the
Quint-
tradition here? Do we?
So Quinton's gonna read out the tasting notes.
Okay.
You can start drinking them anyway.
it a
I don't give
swirl.
Can we give
Yeah,
it,
so
so,
the-
what's the? Yeah, I want to know what the etiquette
Oh,
here
okay.
is.
So you give it a bit of a swirl.
Yep.
Don't spill it on yourself like I did. Take a smell, and then exhale. Take a sip. Inhale with the beer as you pour the beer down your throat, and you'll get the full aromas and flavors. So
Right.
swallow to
This
get
is
the smell.
This is like usually I just fang a beer down my gob, eh?
Yeah.
Don't forget your pinky.
Yeah, you gotta
Sorry.
pinkies
Right.
up, boys. Pinkies up.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's very
Right.
fruity.
It's kind of sweet.
So it's a 1.2 standard drink.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
sweet.
The
for a beer, yeah.
the beer describes itself
Especially
as
coming off Heineken too.
a special little number in collaboration with our good mates at the Rad Bar Cafe. Rest in peace. We are absolutely frothing to work alongside these legends who have helped shape the gong music scene to what it is today. Well, that is true of Rad Bar.
It's a cool.
Brewed using
Logo's nice.
the delicious Valoria Schooner malt from Voyager Craft Malt with only earthy kettle hop additions to keep it clean and simple. This means you can focus on the good things like tearing out the D floor all night
Love it.
long.
Well, that makes sense.
It says it's crisp, clean, crushable, mellow, and watery. Honestly,
I'm gonna test
it
the
is.
crushable right now. Let's see how we go.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we don't.
My
and
man.
so we don't
It
have.
is crushable.
So we don't have, video, obviously. So that was a slight gag that you guys don't get to see, but he just did
A little
skull the
bit.
entire thing.
So
Yeah.
thoughts?
It's very fruity. It's what I would expect to drink if I was at a craft beer place.
Yeah, no, this tastes like Tippler's Tap to me, Jeff.
Like it's
Yeah.
just it's if I was at a pub and it seems like the kind of pubs where I go to and ask if they have 4X and they laugh at me.
yeah,
And they give me
that's
something similar
Tippler's.
to this.
That's
Yeah, don't
Tippler's.
come to Tipplers. We have a sign up on behind the bar saying sorry, we don't sell 4X sols.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been to a few places. There was a nice place out. Where did we go for our meeting for a film clip?
Brewdog.
Brewdog. We went out
Yeah,
there.
I love Brewdog.
It was very. I love the
Didn't we have
atmosphere.
them
Love
on
everything.
their
But
beer
that was
last
kind of
time?
the beer that you'd find yourself drinking there.
I think it's good. The crushable is really accurate. Like you can
Yes.
smash this down.
It didn't.
And
Yeah.
the way they describe that clean taste, I get it. Like
Yeah, it is a very clean, drinkable
It's
beer.
very
like,
light,
that sort of-
easy
it comes
drinking.
down. There's a touch of this sweetness. It's actually a really lovely beer. I reckon it's worth a carton. I reckon
Yeah,
it's worth a
nice.
carton. It
That's
passes
good.
my carton test.
I would go a 6-pack and see how I went.
So we sell a lot of Seeker stuff at work. Like we're all really good mates with the rep. He's also the owner, part owner of Seeker. And he's a lot of their beers are really, really cool. They've got a really, really nice oak what do they call it? The oak cream IPA. If you guys have ever had any of those.
I can't say that I go for any IPA other than the Broken Skull one. So that
Yeah,
I mean,
okay. So like I
Is it
don't.
Steve Austin?
There's not
Yes.
many Seeker beers that I've ever been like, no, I wouldn't drink this. This is definitely like, honestly, this is beautiful and amazing, but this is definitely on the lower level of what a lot of Seeker beers are because they really put a lot of effort into their beers. They're really passionate about craft beer.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, so Ben's actually he reps for about 40 different breweries. He has for the last few years, and he actually had surgery a few years ago, and he actually can't drink a lot because he's had most of his stomach removed. But he's still super invested in the scene. He part owner of Seeker Brewery. He works for a bunch of other breweries as well as their rep. He also supports a lot of other breweries. So when the other breweries around, or especially around Brisbane, are like struggling, he'll go take kegs over there and be like, "Here you go, sell these and make some money."
Yeah.
Like, look after yourselves, all that kind of stuff. He's
Yeah,
just
that's
the
fantastic.
nicest person the nicest rep I've ever had to deal
Yeah.
with. He's so fucking kind and friendly. And yeah, massive shout out to Benny.
I love it. Man. I love it.
Yeah, this is a great beer. I really like this one. So the next one we're gonna have is the Little Hazy from Seeker.
Little hazy.
Little
Hazy. So we got another one.
That'll
too.
be us tomorrow.
Oh, we've got
I do
four
love
of
my
them.
hazes.
All I can say is I do love beer. So this I didn't realize it was going to be a beer tasting thing tonight. So I
get
might
treated
end
here
up
at the
having to
OnlyBands
crash at Chris
podcast.
over here's place, which is fine. Lucky it's just around the corner, and I don't have work till 10.
That was a
so-
high five.
Yeah, yeah, not a sword fight. So
All right, so according to the Lil Hazy itself, this Lil Hazy is akin to walking past an unfamiliar front yard getting absolutely blasted by barking that sounds like it's coming from some monster canine, only to find out that it's a chihuahua. It may
Joseph's
be
a little bit hazy right now.
I've
It
had a couple
may-
beers.
It might be small, but this
I don't
beer
normally drink.
has the big dog energy from DDH editions of Cryo Pop and Vic's Secret over a sweet full body. So it's aromatic, dry, watery, and hazy.
Wow, that's a hell of a description. These people know what they're talking about when it comes to beer, eh?
It's some good marketing, hey.
It's
Yeah.
good. I mean,
Like-
that and like, I mean, it just sounds like it's like you know, when I've only been to a winery once in my life, and like, I remember being really uncomfortable because I'm sitting there in like a sleeveless rock or metal shirt and in jeans, and my girlfriend is so excited about it, and I was just like, they forgot about us and they didn't bring us wine. So then they realized about like 45 minutes later, and then so they started firing wines at us because they forgot about us. And they keep coming over and giving us the speech. I'm like, I don't care about the speech, mate. Just give me the wine. And then the guy was so upset.
Give me the red one.
All right, let's
I'll tell you what, this is a really nice smelling beer. Like, it smells so fruity. Like,
I have
it
to
is.
give it a swell too, don't we?
Yeah, you got to give it a bit of a swirl for the smell. But yeah, no,
I
like
love
so,
that I treat beer now like I treat my weed. Like,
You
Yeah,
gotta smell it, right? You gotta
yeah.
smell
Well,
it.
that's what happens when you hang around Jed. You start sniffing your fucking beer.
it's my job.
Yeah. Yeah, but
same
Jed,
thing with weed though.
you know,
Yeah.
Jed will be like, "Hey, Quentin, you should try this beer. It's got, you know, it starts literally describing it like I did just during the tasting notes," and I'm like, that went completely over my head, but I'll drink it anyway.
But he still always buys the ginger beer.
Yeah,
I do love the ginger beers though.
yeah.
when
No,
they're
the
alcoholic.
brown
The
snake
Brewdog
ginger
ginger beer, yeah.
Do you remember that Forex came out with a ginger beer a couple years back? And I really liked that. So I've never had one since, but I reckon if I did, I probably would enjoy it. Because I remember, if it's, let's call a spade a spade. Forex release beers to please the everyman, right? Like
Yeah.
that would be, their goal is
I'm
to...
definitely not the everyman.
Well, you know what I mean. I'm
definitely the everyman
I'm
when it
drinking
comes to
powers,
beer.
for God's sake. I'm
Yeah.
drinking powers at the moment.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if I enjoyed that alcoholic ginger beer, I don't think I would be out of sorts to say I would enjoy a different one,
Yeah.
or a company that I've never tried before. So,
Well, the Brewdog brown snake ginger beer that you guys said you played there, they've got one of the nicest alcoholic ginger beers I think I've ever had. A brewery in northern New South Wales, just not too far from Byron Bay, actually.
how close to the border though? Because I don't.
No,
really
it's,
wanna
it's,
drink
it's just
New
south of Byron Bay.
Wales.
I can't remember where they are, but they're I can't even think what they're called. But they've got a chai spice ginger beer, Wandana Brewing.
Wow.
They've got a chai spice ginger beer, so it's like the chai spice in ginger beer.
Man, it's
And
getting
I remember,
fancier
like,
and fancier.
The first time I drank it, because like the rep brought some tasters up for me for work, and I remember taking a sip and I was like, oh, it's all right, it's not too bad. Like it's nice, but it's not you know standing out too much. But then I put the can down and I went back to work, and then like literally like maybe 10 seconds later, my mouth was craving more, and I was like, oh.
That spice.
Yeah. And so I went back and had another sip, and I was like, no, that's so good. Like, it's not the greatest tasting thing in the world, but fuck, you drink it and you want it.
Speaking of the taste, we haven't actually given our opinions on the Little Hazy.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
I've had a
Well,
bit
we said
more.
it smelled good.
It goes down.
It does
easy.
smell good.
I've down mine.
looks
No,
like
it is
pine-
actually very
I'll
good.
tell you what.
To tell you what it looks like pineapple juice.
Yeah, it does
Like
look like
mixed with
pineapple
vodka,
juice,
but-
Or
yeah.
apple juice.
Or
like
apple-
Yeah,
cloudy.
it
cloudy
looks like
apple
cloudy.
juice, yeah.
It looks like cloudy apple juice.
But it's very tropical. It's very flowery.
I actually
It's
like
so
it.
much
I wish
smoother
I'd
than I
actually had
think it
more
is
of
going to be
yeah.
by looking
Yeah,
at
it
it.
is.
Yeah.
It is very smooth.
Yeah, it
I
looks like it's going to have a bit of pulp
I
in
was
it.
worried that it was going to be like a really heavy beer, just by like the look of it. But
Well, it's only one.
It
It's
does
only
go
one
down.
standard drink per can.
Oh,
so it'd
our
be
next
4%.
one though is a 1.8.
I thought this was the 1.8
Nah,
one.
no.
Okay, far out. I'm
So this
definitely
one's a
going home.
3.5%, so it's a mid-strain.
This is a session beer.
Yeah, this is a session beer.
I
This
could
is a session
session on
beer?
this.
That's,
You reckon?
that's got a great flavour for a mid-strength. Like,
Yeah.
coming from somebody that drinks craft
I
beer
don't think I could
literally
do
every
like
day.
a carton though.
I would.
Like, I would buy a carton and I'd share it.
No, this
but
is a-
I
like-
could do 3 beers with dinner, like 2 or 3 beers with dinner. I
Yeah.
could do this beer. This would be which one's this one again?
This is the
haze one.
the little hazy.
The
Yeah.
little hazy.
This would go great with a steak.
Like I could
Oh,
do
yeah, no, I
like
could do
lamb
this
chops
on
and
steak,
a
yeah.
barbie. I'll have like 2 to 3 of these.
Yeah.
That would be where I go with.
Or have a 6-pack of the rat ale that we had before, and then, you know, when you know you're going home in an hour, punch 2 of these, and you know you'll get home and you'll have a good sleep.
Yeah.
Mate, I'll tell you
And
this:
it's a-
if I drink 6 of those rad ones, I'll be like let's go. I'm going.
I'm not
Tomcat.
going.
I'm going Tomcat.
I'm going till the sun comes up.
Can I have a look at the cans,
Yeah.
Jed?
The
Thanks.
cans are very cool. I really liked the Rad
for
Ale.
the tour.
That's got one of the coolest designs that
I do
I've
like the
seen.
plastic. I like how
Which
everyone's
ones
got
are
the
little
plastic
hazy?
little heads now. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's how they come delivered in at work. Actually,
Jed keeps all the cans at home in the fucking house, and like sometimes they fall down whenever
I
we're
bring them
cooking.
home from work in the thing.
It's like,
But,
I'm asleep.
It's really cool because some of the breweries have started going with cardboard carries like that.
Yes.
So it actually clips.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah,
I've
so
noticed
instead of clipping over the top, it actually clips around like the top 10% of the neck.
Yeah.
So it actually gets caught under that lip.
Yep.
That's
And
clever.
yeah, so it's not great for like carrying like it is with these, but for pulling them out of a box and clicking them out and putting in the fridge,
no.
perfect.
I mean, I'm not like the biggest, let's say,
Eco Warrior.
eco warrior. Thank you, because I was trying to be as least rude as I could. It's like, but I do care a lot about the ocean and stuff, and I do like those old plastic heads.
Oh
I used
yeah,
to
we
have
just
on
fucking
forex and
strangle
stuff.
fucking.
You see it all
animals,
the time.
Yeah.
That
Just
was
plastic
ridiculous.
in general.
With your hands,
Exactly. It's
you know,
like
like,
you'd
so
have to
what's
cut
a
it up,
marine
and people would
animal?
just throw it in the
Yeah.
bin because they don't care.
Dan, bottoms up.
I have a
mate.
homie who collects these, and he has like a tower of them that are like 2 meters, and I think you can get them recycled or something as well. So he gives them back to the breweries.
Yeah,
or
perfect.
whatever. But it's sick because they're all in different colors. So you've got this just stack that is just alternating. It's quite a vibe. But he's like a hipster beer guy. We should invite Warren on as a guest. He
I-
knows beer.
I feel like if you could get money back for them, the breweries would ask for them back. But like I've tried to give them back to reps when they come in. They're like, we don't want them. We've got enough.
Yeah.
And I threw out maybe like 500-600 of them the other week just because we had them on the shelf and they're taking up room. Like I just threw them straight in the recycling bin.
Wait, is this cans or this?
But you
like,
can.
beer?
No,
That's
this
the
is
best part. You
the
can
carriers.
Oh, the carriers, yeah.
Plastic carriers.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of a problem. It's like today, apparently, soft plastic, they've just been like, fuck, we can't keep, recycling it currently. So stop doing that. At my work, we have about 9 different types of bins. Probably 6 of them for different types of plastics. It's
Yeah.
soft plastic.
No, Chris here is a nurse.
Yeah, that's
So,
the part.
But
to
we
give
wait,
some.
dude, so much waste.
He doesn't work at the dump.
Yeah. It'd be cool if you did though. My dad's at the dump every other week finding things. This standing table, $20.
Oh, nice.
Oh, mate.
I'll tell you this. I've never seen Chris put on his.
Oh, okay. So once again, another
Goes-
sight gag you guys can't see, but Yosef just pressed a button on one of his tables. It rose
went up.
It rose up. It's like a
Rose up
stairway
like
to
the
heaven.
Undertaker.
And friends, that's what we call a flex.
Nah, I just
$25 at the dump, like just.
I'm just saying, Chris went to the dump like a month ago, a couple of weeks back, and like he posted on a story. I'm like, why are you posting a picture of you at the dump? And then I'm like, you're gonna see like how happy he is. Like things are getting smashed, and Chris is like, this is the greatest day of my
We had
life.
my you guys ever had an outdoor couch where you
Yeah,
have it
yeah.
outside, you sit on it every once in a while, eventually gets fucked. Anyway, we were throwing that off, and there was they had the
seen the
gigantic,
smashing it?
Oh, dude, they
Yeah,
had
they smash it,
gigantic machine excavator looking thing,
Smashing
and it's
shit.
crushing my old couch, and of course I had to share that with all my.
We actually love the dump here
My
so
lovely
much. You can actually
followers.
check them out on dump.com.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
We should start a TikTok.
Make sure you get your tickets.
Dump
Keep your
trips.
tickets in the mail.
I feel like that's gonna send everyone to some random porn site or something.
Yeah, probably.
Dump trips.
Yeah.
All right. so
Jesus Christ. It's a great name.
So this one again,
I
another
should get
one
my
from
dad to
Seeker.
do it,
We've
to
got
be
the
honest.
the Mystic Nipa, which is a New England IPA.
yeah,
New England is in Rhode Island.
yeah.
It's a New England style, which is like I don't know.
New
exactly
England,
where
as
it-
in Rhode Island. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly where the name comes from, but it's more of
It
like
comes
a,
from New England in America, which was named
Right.
after the regular England.
Yeah, so it's more of like
The
a
Patriots.
it's more of a tropical, fruity, hazy sort of
Rest
style,
in
more
peace, Tom
juicy.
Brady. Effins in
So,
the chat. He broke
So-
up with the divorce with Giselle. You know.
I know.
so New England's are more on the juicy side to the point where you could say they actually almost taste like juice with some of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're that
I
sort
was
of
gonna say
style.
it looks very like.
It looks dangerous.
I was saying like it's like pineapple juice was the last one. This one looks more like orange juice.
Yeah.
It's
So
thick. It's a thick
the
boy.
Mystic describes itself as inspired by one of our favorite surf spots on the south coast. We designed this beer to top off a full day in the green room or hanging toes on the nose. Brewed with plenty of oats and rolled wheat and tons of late additions hops for that next. Okay, it says topical island. I assume tropical island. Safari. A topical island. You just apply that to your skin. I wish I had an island like that. So it's citrusy, aromatic, dry hop, it's got mouth feel and it's got body. So I don't know.
Just like my girl.
Just want to throw out there really quick. If you want a topical island, just get all of your creams and just pile them all up on your desk, squish them into a mountain,
And
then
shove
just
your face
slam your
straight
fucking
into it,
face in
like
it.
Tony Montana into the pile of coke.
I've had a couple of sips of this one. I don't know if I'm into this.
Man, with the Scarface reference coming
Yeah.
at me, I love it. Oh,
It
fuck
genuinely
me, let's
tastes
go.
like juice.
It's like a little stronger than juice, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit
I
strong.
don't
but
like it so much. The
No.
last one was definitely better.
Oh, far out.
That's not a me drink.
I'm definitely not driving
Yeah, no.
Is that a double IPA?
Chris is going to
Yeah,
have
it's
a
one.
smell.
It's 1.8.
Because he is celiac, just to let not like if you're a Roadhouse fan, you know, because Chris will tell you his dietary needs.
all time.
It's
At
part
all
of the
times.
intro.
If you're a new fan,
sorry.
if you're interested in seeing our band,
Do
Chris
not
is a
offer
celiac.
sandwiches to Chris. Like, he will not eat them. unless they're on
Only
a nice
rice
gluten-free.
switches.
If you want to buy him a beer, make sure it's gluten free.
Yes.
Oh, I had to eat fucking, gluten-free
Shout out to
bread
Han
for a
Super
month, and I
Crisp.
fucking hated it, man. I don't know how you put up with it
Ultra
full
Crisp.
time.
Did you get a camera or something? You didn't.
They
want
thought I okay. One time I drank so much I started having severe stomach bleeding. They thought I had Crohn's. I didn't have Crohn's, and then they thought I had IBS. So then they were like, I had to go on the low FODMAP diet so I had to cut out gluten and shit. Turns out I didn't have that. Turns out I was just an alcoholic. But yeah,
about
but
it, mate.
nah, like just
We
the
all are here.
one month.
Not me.
The 1 month drove me crazy,
I'm
so
happy
I
with it.
definitely
Not
don't
saying
envy
you
you.
Oh, mate.
Not saying you have to.
Just quickly going back to that camera in the wrong place story. Do you have a story to tell us?
Oh.
So if you have
Something
any
about
gas,
Potential to cut whenever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yeah. So if you have any sort of bad gastrointestinal problems, they're gonna give you a colonoscopy. That's just.
Oh,
standard
dude, I have been
diagnosis.
avoiding that since 2009. I was like, that I've had bad guts since 2009. I just deal. Because I'm like, I can't bring myself to go do it. And like anyone with a sense of brains or like a general idea of medicine is gone. Just go do it, and you'll find out what's wrong with you. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Keep in mind, I was throwing up blood, so it had to
That's
happen.
a different
Yeah.
story. That's a
That
different
gets you
story.
there.
Quentin's the
Yeah.
epitome of
Like,
health.
look,
Active bleed somewhere.
if I'm having a
Yeah.
bleed, let's say I will probably sort that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but
Maybe just start in the bedroom with some practice. You know, get a
But
hit.
Chris's story.
Are you feeling sexy, Chris?
You're looking sexy, Chris.
So
you
what are
need
we
to do one of
talking
these
here?
ones?
Like, oh, what's that? Sorry.
Like,
You don't
before
have
start
anything
the
in your
story,
moustache. He wants you to
say,
be-
boys,
Yeah, lick your fingers and push your
pull
mustache
your
to the
mustache.
side so
This is
you've got a
another
clear
sight gag
voice.
you guys can't
He
see.
does have a spectacular mustache.
It is
Fuck, who the
good.
fuck
He's
is it?
basically
Oh,
Freddie Mercury to me.
Dude, the day he wore a wife beater on stage, that was fantastic.
Accidental Freddie Mercury did
It wasn't
several
even planned.
gigs. I promise it wasn't. Like we had our 2-year. Oh fuck! I don't know how many years.
He's
it actually
avoiding the
was, but
fucking
we did our
colonoscopy
second-
story.
Yeah, he's avoiding the story.
He is the color.
It's called stalling.
If you don't want to tell it, you don't have to.
We,
But we're not cutting
I'll
it if
go
you
ahead
don't.
and tell this EP story instead. Yeah, look, we were releasing our second EP and we'd booked out the zoo. Had a fucking good crowd going and all this.
Fuck, it was
Whatever. We've had a fucking fantastic gig celebrating this new EP. That was our triple shot EP. And I promise I'm not an Freddie Mercury like fanatic or anything, but I've ended up shaving my head. I've got this big mo going, and I thought the coolest outfit I could wear was a white. Oh, sorry, it wasn't a white thing. It was like a Aussie blue.
That's right.
Wife
that's right.
beater singlet.
Yes.
Like a light
And basically,
blue?
I
Like a-
looked
like-
like
just like
the
the
Aussie
classic
man's
Bond
off
song,
yeah.
bloody Freddie Mercury impression.
Yeah.
But once again, accidental. And then afterwards, I'm getting everyone's like thinking I'm doing this Freddie Mercury.
I think like Bohemian Rhapsody had come out recently, and you were just like completely.
This is the
oblivious
film-
to
the
it.
film, not
Just
the
like
song.
myself a singlets, mate. I was
He's
just
like, I'm just wearing a
wearing
single with my
singlets for
moustache.
years, yeah.
Like-
I bet the crowd was going wild for that one.
Oh,
Oh,
mate,
they were,
good time,
mate.
good time.
They always go wild when Chris is out there. We've only played one gig without Chris, and because he had COVID, and we had to go to the Gold Coast, and we were very excited about the Gold Coast gig. Chris gave us this blessing to go on without him, so it was very daunting for.
Who's saying?
I did see that
So,
on your Instagram. You
Doug-
did the whole promotion thing for it, being
Who's
like,
gonna be
"Oh,
the singer?"
keep an eye out who's going
Yeah.
to be the singer."
So Doug, our guitarist, he's a wonderful singer in his own right.
Absolutely.
He sang all of Chris's parts, and then I sang Doug's parts, which is very daunting. Because like I'm working on my singing, I'm trying to get there, but it's like I would like the boys have been like, "Oh, Dan, your mic doesn't work," and I go, "Okay."
Happy with that.
Okay, I don't mind. So that's more or less where I'm at. But it was we had to do a lot of our early stuff because there's a lot of stuff that Doug wrote himself, and he knew how to sing the melody his way, right? But everyone said like it was a great show, but like, all I remember is like this energy missing. Like it was honestly, Doug and I looked at each other straight away, and we're like, he's usually bouncing up and down, and we're both at our mics singing, like, you know, and it's like that's a style too. But to us, it's like, for me especially, when Doug and Chris start singing like their parts, I go crazy. Like I'll go headbanging, I get like fucking mental and to people, and then so I don't have to worry about my singing. Whereas I had to do that all night, but then people seem to like the fact that it was just like us singing the songs together and playing the songs, and so it worked out. But I mean, again, it was like a beautiful moment of when Doug and I just sort of turned to each other and realized it's like, fuck, man, where's Chris? Like, we need you there.
Yeah, where is Chris tonight, guys?
It's a great sign. We literally, like, we're going to play the gig all together 3 days earlier, and then suddenly lead singer's gone.
Yeah.
And guess what? They just went, like, these guys we pull it all together and it's fine. You know what I mean? It speaks to...
It wasn't great, but we pulled it together.
You guys...
We did it right.
I think it's... I'm proud of the boys. Like, you know what I mean? You
just hustled your way there.
Absolutely. And, like, these guys are incredible performers, whether I'm there or not. You know what I mean? And yeah.
I was going
Jed, please introduce this last beer.
All right, so we're gonna. What are we up to?
We're up to beer 4. We've already had a fair bit.
Well, this
one's the Twilight West Coast IPA from Seeker as well.
Is no relation to the
6.5% alcohol.
Good point.
Yeah. Good point.
So I don't really want this full glass.
So Ben texted me today because he called me and he goes, "Oh, I've dropped your beers off at work. What are you guys doing?" And he only dropped one beer off, and like one style of beer, the Red Ale. And I was like, "Oh, we normally do like 2 or 3, and just like 2 cans of each is plenty." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, no worries. I'll just run it back to my car and I'll grab you some more, no stress." And then anyway, so I get a text message from him like an hour later, and he goes, "All right, so I've put 4 beers in there. There's 16 beers." He gave me a 4-pack of each, and he's just like, "This is the order you should drink them in." He goes, "This is the best way to drink them. Right. These are it's from the least tasting to the best tasting, or like I can't remember what he said."
Can I have a question? Is this 2 standard drinks and
this is
a 300 ml can? 375.
6.2.
I'm about the Sunny Boy sours. That's the 3.2.
Yeah, that's legit.
Alright, so
we're flying
the
now.
Twilight West Coast IPA describes itself as: there is no doubt about the magic of the twilight zone when the sun hits just right in the late afternoon. That golden hue where everything seems to pop out at you, stopping you in your tracks to take it all in. When everyone and everything is looking so good. If only we could capture that in a beer. Hops, Mosaic, Citra, and Simcoe. I don't know what the fuck that means.
They're the stop hops they use.
Okay, yeah. So it describes itself as being citrusy, piney. I'm very piney. Hoppy, aromatic, and grapefruity. Well,
so I just want to start this out by saying this Twilight is a way better. Me and this Twilight is a way better love story than Twilight.
All right,
dude. I went and saw Twilight. The only part I laughed was when she fell down the hill, and everyone was not laughing. And I'm like, okay,
I'm with you on that one.
All right.
My girlfriend always tries to get me to watch it, and I'm just like, nah.
That's the same Harry Potter for me.
I'll do Harry Potter, no problem. Love Harry Potter.
But Twilight's a step too far.
What's it, Dolby? I think he's the other character I like.
Dolby is the
sound system, yeah.
So I just want to start this out by saying that West Coast IPAs are my favourite type of IPA.
I like East Coast IPAs, and Jed and I.
What defines a West Coast IPA?
So
it's brewed on the West Coast, damn it.
It's actually not true. That's not true.
No, it's the American West Coast, not the Australian West Coast. Thank God. The Australian West Coast far
So
inferior.
like San Antonio, Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's brewed in Australia on the East Coast, but it's a West Coast IPA, right? So it's a West Coast style, and the style started out, and like this is me coming
Alright, everyone
from
just
my...
start drinking things. Let him continue.
This is my very lack of knowledge. Like I serve beer, I talk shit about beer, I make most of it up, but I make fun with it.
If I could say this is your lack of knowledge of beer, it's at least like a 4-year uni degree
Yeah, I
more
know.
than mine.
It's encyclopedic. at
Yeah,
this point.
well, you know, you work where I work, you learn to talk shit. But no. So from what my understanding is, right, a West Coast is supposed to be a more bitter, more hoppy, more stronger IPA over an East Coast, where an East Coast is supposed to be more tropical, juicy, and like more sweeter on that sort of sense. But West Coast, in my opinion, are the better beer because it's more easier drinking. Because like the more you get a sweeter beer, for me, it's like you can't drink so much. Once you get a nice hoppy, bitter beer that actually goes down with like a really nice flavor to back it up, it's easier to drink. It's
Well,
more.
I'm the opposite. That's
it's
why I
more
drink
crushable.
fucking brown snake like it's water.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you probably
I
like
go to the
Ruskies as
sweeter
well,
beers that
mate.
are strong as
You
fuck.
probably like Ruskies and
can't.
Cruisers too.
No,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Ruskies are good
I
as.
don't drink cruisers
This is-
or
this
I don't
is
even
like-
know what Ruskies are.
This is like hoppy and
Ruskies are
sweet
good
at the
as.
same
Yeah,
time.
it's got
Yeah.
that bitterness to it, but that's my favorite type of beer. Is the West
I'm a
Coast IPA.
citrus fiend when it comes to
Can't do it.
what's in my drinks, what's in my food,
Yeah, no,
the
yeah.
scent of my weed. This though, I don't know. It's a little too much for me. It kind of stings the nostrils,
I thought
and
the same.
Yeah, I don't know.
but I'm definitely not like a palated beer drinker.
That's it. I'll also say that. Again, can I also mention that in my beer fridge at the moment is Powers Queensland beer, go the Broncos,
Yeah,
and 4X Gold Queenslander.
Yeah, don't worry. Jed is literally the only beer drinker
Beer
we've
snob.
ever had on this podcast who actually has a palate for it. Literally everyone
no,
else
I
is
wouldn't say
just
I'm like not there.
Yeah, I know, but like literally everyone else is just I just drink whatever's available on tap, whatever.
swine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
Joseph-
I'll take
Yeah, no, he's like Jed's the only person I've ever met who's like, oh wow, that really has the hops in that are really
Yeah.
good. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What are the hops?
yeah, what the hops?
So I actually one of the greatest things I ever heard from a customer at work, and he was a guy from New Zealand. He came over and he was doing something for work in
So he was
in
like, "Oh,
South
chill,
Bank."
bro.
And he was like, he came in and like sometimes on like weeknights at late at night you don't get a lot of customers, and when
Every day at tap.
when these
people-
traveler like people that come from overseas like to come up to the bar, they want to have a conversation and talk about the beers because if they're into craft beer, they're into craft beer in their country, but the craft beer in every country is so different. So I had this guy come up to me once, and he's from New Zealand, and he's just like, oh man, like, you know, I
Shit,
love.
bro, what kind
he's
of
like,
beer
he
you
goes,
got?
I love those guys, man.
he's like, "Sure, bro, you want to sit on my dick?"
Yeah, well, you know,
Maybe cut that one.
whatever you're into, mate. Whatever you're into.
That's how they say dick.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. He goes,
Oh, yeah,
come
my
over to
cabot's
my house.
dick.
I got a really nice dick.
Yeah.
Fuck, I
good dick.
thought he was talking about his dick.
Yeah, I was talking about my dick.
All right, so continue with this story before we move on.
So anyway, he's telling me that I think he lives in Wellington or something. And he was telling me that he brews his own beer at home, but he's really into the craft beer scene, like Garage Project is like one of the biggest breweries in even Australia, and it's a New Zealand brewery. Like in terms of independent craft beer, Garage Project is fucking the tits. Like they make the best beers I've ever had in my life. Like they're so unique and different.
I'll get some Garage
So-
Project on the next podcast, Jed.
I actually met the Garage Project rep yesterday.
All right, good.
So
Lock
I
it
didn't
in,
know
lock
they
it
had
in.
a
Lock
I
it
didn't know
in,
they had
Eddie.
a
You
rep.
reps
I
on
did
your
not know they had a
podcast.
rep
It's
in
already
Australia,
happening.
so
It's
now
already
I
happening.
actually can because
Sponsors.
Should we get
Guys,
some
sponsors.
beer refs on episodes and get them to fucking walk us
I
through?
thought about doing it as a
sponsors,
sub-series.
man.
A sponsored.
Yeah, I thought about doing it as a sub-series, and I think I still might.
Oh yeah, this still isn't a sponsored segment, by the way.
Yeah, we don't get paid for none of this shit.
Look,
We-
I'm happy for you guys to get any beer sponsorship that you guys can get, and I will if they call me up. out of the
Roadhouse
blue-
approved.
But
These
Roadhouse will
podcasts
tell
cost
you.
us like $100 plus an episode, and the best we get out of is free beer. So
Can I,
And we still
can
buy
I just
some
say-
of it.
yeah, so thanks for listening. To be honest,
Can I just say, guys, I didn't know how this night would go coming in here. Didn't know what was going to happen, but I'm having a fucking wonderful time. Like, you know, this is great. This
hey
is,
buddy,
this is
anytime.
perfect. Mate, I'm
Anytime.
Okay.
You know, this is fantastic.
But
Okay, Jed,
Yeah.
finish your story first before then we'll go launch into the game. 'Cause
Yeah.
we'll have time for one game.
so
One
was I just talking about Garage Project? Is that
Yes,
it?
you were talking about Garage Project.
So anyway, no, I feel like there was more to that story that I'm forgetting.
The New
I cut
Zealand
you
dude who
off,
said
I'm
he
sorry.
worked for Garage Project, he's ready into his
No, okay, all right.
beer brewing scene.
So dialing
Sorry,
back a little
Dan.
bit. So
Sorry.
this guy
Editor's
came in
gonna
from
have
New
a shit
Zealand and
time.
like he knows good craft beer. There's a lot of good craft beer breweries in New Zealand. But Garage Project is one of the best for sure. But this guy was coming in and he said that he does a lot of craft beer himself at home. But he found that when you make a beer and if it doesn't taste so great, or even if it does, but even if you just get the fresh hops, and instead of actually putting them in the boil when you make the beer, if you just put the hops in a strainer and you pour even a 4X through them, it completely changes the style and the taste of the beer.
Wow.
And if anybody else knows this,
like chemistry.
but like if anybody else knows this,
Science,
hops is the
bitch.
same family of plant as cannabis, right?
Yes.
I
didn't know.
So
that.
I said to him, and this is like I'm tired. I've been at work for 12 hours. I don't really care what I say right now. Said to him, I was like, wait, so you're saying if I just went and got a handful of fucking really nice cannabis buds and poured a beer through it into a glass, it would taste even better? And he goes, I guarantee you it would. All right, so
Alright, so our teams,
Categories.
because I came up with most of the categories, I'll be sitting this one out. Our teams are Joseph and Chris and Jed and Dan.
All right, Jed, let's do this, mate.
You're
we'll,
so fucked.
we'll go clockwise, starting from Jed.
all right, so we'll go boom, 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 boom,
Just like Basil Brush.
just to make it
Okay.
Yeah.
sequence.
There's an old reference for you.
didn't
If
get
you
it.
pick something up that you just
like
genuinely
60s.
don't think you know enough about it to do anything, just move on to another one.
pass.
But if you pick
Do
it up
that
and
pass.
think, I know this, but it's going to be hard, you can't do it.
You can't.
So we trust you. Like, if you
Fair.
pick it up and be like, oh,
We're
I
on
know
the
what
other
this
this
system.
means.
I know what this
okay,
is.
cool. So you're not going to be like, dumbass. Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So if you pick it up and you
We
know
respect
it's going to
you
be
enough.
hard,
Yeah.
that's not okay. If you
Okay.
pick it up and you genuinely have no idea what the fuck it is,
Yeah, I'm like,
move on.
Yeah. If I can't read it either, I have a country education.
Hard is
so
okay.
that's a big issue for me.
Sorry.
Impossible is not okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just put it
Possible,
simply.
maybe.
I'm gonna try my best. Like I'm telling you, I want to win.
Well,
so.
look, I really hope you know what you're talking
I'm very
about. here.
competitive,
This,
so-
this one's
Me too.
this
We're gonna
one
do 5
I
rounds
think
of
would
this.
be easy, but
Let's go.
Some
But you
people
don't
might
know
think
me
it's
very well,
tough.
so let's go.
all right. So this is a drug.
Okay.
Alright? It's something you take if you really want your heart to increase. It's not. All right. So it's something that's used in a lot of ADHD medication.
Fuck it.
Um,
What they used to give me.
It's so say for example, Dexies are a type of this.
Yeah. I used
Um,
it starts with an R, doesn't it?
It's sorry.
Start with an R?
No.
Ah, fuck.
It's
Ritalin. That's what I was thinking.
It's
Ritalin.
the drug. So it's like, you know, like okay, you know Breaking Bad.
Yes.
What
meth.
do they cook?
Meth.
Yeah, meth. What?
Amphetamine.
Yes.
Okay, that's 1 point.
Man, that took forever.
Alright, so-
Sorry. Yeah, like
we need to get a timer. I
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
think that's next time.
definitely
But
get an
Jed
egg timer, 'cause
described it
that
a
took-
lot better than last time.
It's true.
No, I think the
Alright.
last time it said Ritalin.
Yeah, and he
It
was,
was harder to
he was
say.
describing amphetamine the entire
I-
time, but he actually meant Ritalin. And
Yeah.
I was like, and afterwards
Anyway.
I realized, oh shit.
Yes.
All right, I've
sorry.
got mine, and you're going to get this in the first sentence. You ready?
This is like a drug.
This is
round
easy.
now.
Bart sold this to Millhouse.
We've used this one before, yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
It's
Please
not really
elaborate.
exist. It doesn't really exist in the physical world. It's sort of.
Yeah,
It's.
you can-
I'm not groaning.
Joseph,
Think of
you can-
religious
help him.
connotations.
Joseph, you can say
Yeah. Oh, that's actually good.
the Joseph, you can say the
Hey,
category.
don't help him.
Under-
We're versing them.
We're a team. We're a team. Alright.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's also a genre of music.
Oh man, that's so.
A lot of people with deep voices sing this.
Baritone.
No.
No.
I really want to help.
What?
You can name the
Tap your chest.
you can name the ethno-cultural group who
Soul.
Yeah.
How did you not get it on the Millhouse reference?
That's the bar one. I was like, let's go.
Oh, brother. Dude, that just
Okay,
makes
yep,
sense to
Dan,
me.
you
Yeah.
can pick one and
Oh
describe
yeah,
the Jed
okay.
now.
Oh, fuck, I have to describe. Let me just
Yeah.
get some beer in me first.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go.
Guzzle, guzzle,
That
guzzle.
was good.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a good first question. First.
Oh, okay. So it's like mixed up. So there's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everything
Yeah, yeah.
inside. Okay, cool. And am I allowed to use bands as references? Of,
if it's a genre, no.
Okay.
You're not allowed to.
So essentially, it's a lot of 8-stringed and 7-string guitar instruments with.
I'm a bit musically dumb, so
costumes.
that's not going to help. Unless
Oh my
it is
god.
hair
dude.
rock.
No.
Hair metal,
So is that the answer? So
No.
You
I-
can have
keep
a
going?
few guesses.
We have
You
a
have
few
a few
guesses.
guesses.
Okay.
I have 5 guesses.
You have to get
cool,
five
cool.
guesses, yeah.
So essentially, it started in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I know which one you're talking about, but Jed's
I
hopeless.
do.
Yeah.
It's I can't use
You
bands.
can use a synonym for for one of the descriptors and the genre name.
It's can I? Oh, I can't even say that. Fuck. There's a lot of bands that aren't very good.
That's true, yeah.
Metal?
Yeah, but like
It is
yes.
It is
that,
a form
but,
of
like,
metal.
Heavy metal?
Not
different
it's
form,
a
let's
form.
give him
It
one
is a
more.
form.
Think about the year he gave you.
Yeah, like think about the late 90s, early 2000s of that kind of.
Oh, man.
Yeah, think about a golden
Death
coat.
metal.
No.
Oh,
You're on.
I'm not-
That's number 3, Jed.
Yeah, I know.
Death
I
metal
know.
started in 1988.
Yeah.
Officially.
Yeah.
Thanks for the history lesson.
No worries. I love Cannibal Corpse.
You love this genre, Jed. I hate it, but you love it.
Really?
I can't. I must give you a better one. I can't use song names or anything.
No,
like that.
nah.
Fuck.
Did
Alright.
you use a lyric?
No.
No, you... I feel
No,
like that's...
That might be a bit of a
go.
giveaway.
Honestly, okay, hang
But
on.
Jed, it'll be a giveaway.
So they were also. This would be good. So our band of this specific persuasion were on a South Park episode with a yellow little duck and bird looking thing.
I'm literally watching South Park right
I've
now,
watched
but I haven't
so
got
much
to
South
that.
Park and I
It's a
don't
very
know this.
old South Park episode. Let's just say that.
Wait, is it the one where he fed Scott Tenorman his parents
No, that's way old. It's way before that.
way
It's
before?
Way
season
before.
five.
Jed, you love
Okay.
this genre. I fucking loathe it. We've gotten this one before.
Chris already got it. You know what it is.
Yeah. I got one more guess.
We'll give you one more. We'll give you one more.
Alright,
So give me another clue. I'm trying to. Fuck.
I find at least for one of the most popular bands, the
So-
lyrics are incredibly fucking
So
whiny.
there was a band in the big day out in Sydney where 2 people died and then a riot broke out and they were a part of that
I know who
specific
this is.
thing that I'm talking about. So the genre of that.
It's a good.
That was a good
Yeah,
one.
you get
That
one.
was-
Yeah,
I'm
you
trying my
get
best
one
there.
more,
I'm trying
dude.
my
If you
best.
don't know
Yeah,
this,
no,
one-
I know who he's talking about. I can't think what genre they are.
oh my god.
You've already said one of the words.
Yeah, metal. I know.
Yeah, so what's the
I
other
know.
word?
This is why whoever ends up paired with Jed always loses.
Can you mime something?
Oh, yeah, just
Something that represents the word, not necessarily the.
No, because it's impossible to
So,
fucking do.
can I say this as a clown with a baseball bat who hits a fucking beer keg?
Yeah, no, that's.
I can say
yeah,
all that,
no.
right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
So what's
no.
that?
I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue.
I think Jed cannot win.
Okay,
that.
yeah, no.
Okay, pass. All right,
Okay.
we lost
What
that.
was it?
We
What-
lost that one.
It
Tell me
was
about
new
that.
metal.
Oh fuck!
Jesus Christ.
Man, I was doing my best.
Yeah, I know exactly. You gave it away so
No.
much, like so well as well. Like,
I didn't hear about new metal till like 3 years ago, so I did not think it was from the 80s.
Man, if it
no,
was
from the
90s,
90s. He
I
said the
remember my mum
90s.
and dad
90s,
busting
sorry.
in when I was listening to fucking chocolate flavored starfish.
Yeah.
And I was rapping it to my fucking bedroom fucking mirror.
I'd never heard of new
I
metal
loved
until I heard about Turnstile.
True.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it was never a genre I'd ever
All
come
right,
across.
Jed, it's your turn
So
again.
no opinion on
I
my
remember listening to like.
Okay,
Hot
that's
Dog.
one. That's one round. We'll do 5.
No,
just
isn't
to
it Chris that needs
just
to
make-
pick a card now?
No,
Chris
it's
is
you.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, it's you.
Yeah, it's Chris that picks the card.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
he, oh.
Oh no, Chris didn't go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, sorry.
Chris had to
Fucking-
guess.
I know
yeah,
what
he
I'm
guessed all.
saying.
He got right.
All right,
He got
cool.
right.
I don't.
Chris
Man, I
Chris
can
has
go
got
pick
this.
All right, here we go.
All right, my friends. I'm gonna
awesome.
be describing a type of drug.
Yep.
Yep, sick, love him.
This drugs, I wouldn't say it's a classic. I'd say it's newer from the 2010s onward.
Okay.
If you were under the effect of this drug, you might eat someone's face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we go. Yeah.
Crocodile?
No,
No.
it's not. That's not it.
This is like this is
So
a
no.
type of product that you might use in your house in the In a room where you take a shower. That room. And it's
Yeah, that's good.
and it's like that's
This
it's
is
a term. Yeah, it does sound. It does, yeah.
It's not actually what you use in the shower. It just looks like it. That's
But like the
where it gets
term
its
that
name.
people
Yeah.
would call this, it's like the
Suck,
colloquial
Chris.
term would be like a term would be another word of a product you'd find in that area where you would shower. I could break it down in, so that's 2 clues. I could break it down into first word, second word if you want.
Yeah.
First word is like if someone, I just want to say it, the opposite to a shower, I'd be taking,
Yeah.
what would I do?
Scrub.
It's like similar to taking a shower, but it's the other one that you do in that area that I'm trying to describe.
What else would you do? Oh, shut up, man.
Yeah.
Place where you take a shower, it's otherwise known as...
I'm very quick to help.
Yeah.
It's
I'm like,
the
there's
room.
a better way of
There's-
describing this.
Yeah. So the first word's the first word you just said then.
Okay.
And the second word is the opposite of pepper.
Bath salt. Oh, bath salt.
Good. Very good. Okay, that was masterful. That was
Oh
great.
man, I haven't heard of bath salts in like 6 years.
Early
As soon as you said
2010s.
eating people's face, I'm thinking Philly, the zombie Halloween
Yeah,
episode,
yeah, exactly,
eating
yeah.
people's faces.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is round 2. It's Jed's turn.
Oh
Yeah,
let's
I'm gonna
go.
fuck this shit up.
Yo, dog. I
Like
heard you
how
like
beers.
playing
Let's have fun.
categories.
All right. So you're a nurse, right?
I'm not a
Sorry,
nurse.
no,
I'm just
no,
a
no.
nurse.
No.
I'm a martial arts instructor, so this won't help me. If
So
it's,
you don't work in a hospital?
I've been to hospital,
was
but I've
Chris
had the
who was
wrong
the nurse.
ideas.
Have you been to hospital for really
The guy that
severe
says he's
pain?
been into hospital
No.
in a Hulk
I've
Hogan
only,
shirt.
like,
Something
yeah.
iconic about that to
Okay.
me.
Have you ever broken a bone?
Yeah, I've
or-
broken like
in your
yeah.
adult years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this
Endone.
So this is the drug. It's either endone or the other one.
Federal.
No.
Fentanyl.
No.
fuck.
I don't know.
I should know
enough
this much about
describe
pain.
it, but it's a
Oh yeah.
it's a pain relief medication. It's I'm not
one of the
100%
most-
sure.
Oxycodone, Oxycontin. Is it a derivative of any oxy?
Take away the oxy and you've got the
Paracetamol, paracetamol,
no, but
paracetamol.
like go
Oh,
explain
so-
the lettering you're using there.
Okay.
Without spelling it out. You know what I mean? Can't do that.
No.
I'll give you a clue from the opposing side. It
thank
used to be available over the counter.
Yeah, but now
Cocaine.
it's not anymore.
No.
but now it's not,
more
and it's only more
than
recent.
cocaine.
Oh fuck! I don't know anything about
But
this.
you're on the right note with the lettering at the start.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. you
Jed,
know.
what's one of the most popular ways to take it? Not because it's not. You can't read
So
it.
it comes in tablet form, but you can
You
snort
can't.
it, right?
No, but
Well-
what?
Up your ass?
Pepper.
No,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'll
It
pass.
was really
pass.
fucking
I can't do it.
popular.
I think we're passing this one.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think
Other
at
one,
this
you might
point,
be able
yeah,
to, like,
yeah, one more at this point.
It's hard for me, mate.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's
I
not
don't.
with me. Codeine.
Codeine.
Jed, okay, the what Jed missed was rappers drink it with their lean all the time. They have
I wouldn't
codeine,
know,
cough
mate.
syrup.
No, it's
They
codeine.
have
I didn't-
yeah.
That's not codeine. That's
No, it
like
is co-
No, that's
no,
DXM.
it's codeine.
That's
No,
DXM.
Yeah.
no. There's 2 types of medicated cough syrup. You have one with codeine. You have the other sort with DXM. You can still get the DXM stuff over the counter, but the codeine you're not allowed to anymore.
Yeah.
Like the hardest painkillers I knew. Straight away.
Okay. The Kiwis
definitely
love
gonna
this
help
genre. It involves kind of 2 instruments, but it's a form of electronic music. It's 3 words in total. One is a joining word. It's very bass heavy. Oh shit!
I do like that.
Oh no, you're disqualified. You lost that round.
it's
It was drum and bass.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's lost that round. All right.
Alright.
Okay. Dan. your turn to
Damn, that's what the
describe.
beers get me.
That's alright, mate. It's
Dude,
usually
I didn't do very well either. So
That's-
I give that one to
I don't
me.
even know what this
We're only
is.
one. Oh, if
Oh,
you
just
don't
take a
know
new
it,
one.
pick another one.
Alright.
If we're only one behind, we've got a chance. I thought before when after
You're
we lost
tied
the
at
second
the
one,
moment.
We
we were
keep
done.
these if we.
Oh, I'm hoping. I think that I know what I know, but I don't know.
You might know.
And I can't use bands either, can I?
No.
No.
So
Giving Jed genres is terrible.
Yeah, I'm bad.
Yeah, I know. He's fucking awful.
I know, I can
Everything to
tell.
me is just like, yeah, it's sick.
Let's go with.
Say festivals.
You
though.
can.
There's a movie that I would suggest about this particular thing, and it's Austin Powers. And the Brit Mania. Oh, fuck, I said the word.
No, it was Britpop, right? Yeah. Okay, well
I
that's
can't use
two.
another one.
That's two disqualifications.
I don't think
so
Jed
far.
would get that.
Okay, yeah,
no.
no. All right, Chris, your turn to describe the
Yeah,
Yoast.
Do you guys listen to like Yes at all or XTC
Nah,
or
man, nah.
I listen
man,
to Yes.
I know
some
about
Britpop
it.
stuff
I
is
love
fucking
Yes
sick.
isn't fucking Britpop.
I don't
Yes
know
is
if I
like
can
prog
do
rock.
Britpop,
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about the different. Unless we're no, they're it's a British.
Yeah, you
Yes
should've
is a
said
British
Catfish at
band,
the
but that's
bottom, and
not
I would have picked that
Britpop.
up straight away.
True.
No, I'm
Oh, you
fucking
can't say
struggling.
Britpop.
I was
Gang of
struggling.
Youth.
Yeah.
Not Gang of
If I
Youth.
don't
Sorry.
say
Yeah.
Spice Girls,
Oasis
if I don't
is
say Robbie
Britpop.
Williams, it'd be like
No,
Blur.
I'm thinking of
Yeah, I wouldn't have known they were all British.
No.
Could I ask the table
Looking back
something
now, I know,
outside
but I
of
wouldn't have picked that
podcast?
up.
Alright, guys, we've
Sorry.
we've tabled off into different
Sorry.
conversations. Yeah.
My
Could
fault.
I ask something outside of podcast for a second? I've got one I reckon will be over in like 2 seconds.
Win the
Can I
thing.
look at other ones
Yeah,
that might
grab
be
it up.
better? Or,
Yeah,
like,
No, you can just.
or just do it?
If
Do
we
it,
get a
just
free
do
win,
it,
we get a
just do
free
it,
win.
yeah.
Win.
We're getting it anyway.
You know it's competitive, is it?
Yeah, nah.
All right.
He's just there to sing
Wait,
songs.
here's where I claim. Here's where I claim it'll be over in 2 seconds. We'll lose.
Oh no.
All right, my friends. This is a type of music. It's 2 words. The first word is like when someone got shot in the fucking. If I shot Jed in the head, I would never. By the way, never in my life. But if I
specific about
did,
that.
he'd be like, what would he be?
Dead.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is the next one like
And then death to. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I said anything.
Yeah,
But
well, we've already confirmed
what's this
that.
mean?
Who got it?
the devil?
Yeah. What type of music does the devil like?
It's surely got to be death pop. Nah, death metal.
All right, yeah.
Oh, I fucked up too. I said.
Oh, was that? Do we count that as a forfeit?
That's a win. That's right. He already
Yeah,
had
no,
the-
they'd already agreed. They had
Yeah,
already
yeah,
agreed
yeah.
on that.
Oh,
All right. Okay, that's one
Do
for
we
you.
just take that as they win because
They
like,
win,
we're 2 behind.
Good game.
We
are
are
Okay.
the
Okay.
winners.
Good game.
No
good
time
game.
for
Good game. Good game.
losers.
Okay.
Thank you, Game
Just
Master.
reject them. Don't allow them into
All
our
right,
circle.
so
we don't associate
what was the
with
total
losers
score
anymore.
for that? It was like 3 to fucking.
There is a
like,
new
1 to
podcast
No, sorry,
that's
sorry.
being divided.
5-2, I think.
1.
Or 5-3. 5-3.
Yeah. I have a few questions left for Roadhouse, or like I guess one main question. Triple Shot was the last time you guys put out like an EP or like a collective work, and now you've sort of just had a string of singles. What's next for Roadhouse? Are you gonna build up to another EP, or are you gonna aim for an album, or what's happening?
My philosophy on that would be more singles. I think, especially as the level that we are, and I mean, I don't think that we're fucking Skyhooks for an old reference, or like, you know, who's a popular band these days? Chris, give me a popular band.
Boylan Soho.
Yeah, Violent Soho. We're not Violent Soho or anything. So for us, it's going to be mostly singles and EPs. Like, I don't think a full album's on the cards as of yet. But hey, if Roadrunner Records are out there looking for a kick-ass rock band, you know, hey,
Someone wants to throw 30 grand.
yeah,
at
like,
us,
let's
so-
go. We'll go.
All right, Roadrunner
Yeah,
Records, we're
let's
calling
go.
you guys out. Sign Roadhouse.
At
Let's
Roadrunner
make it happen.
Records, please.
Yes. Yeah.
No, look, we'll be honest. Let's be open. Like, we've generally been hitting more singles and film clip single because, like, that's the more efficient way to hit
So the way it
markets
goes.
these
Yeah, it makes
days.
sense.
Absolutely.
We'd love to record
the
an
truth.
album, but it would. We're all fucking full-time
Everything.
workers. We're fucking playing every weekend. We're like, what I'm getting at is like,
We work hard.
we're working.
Work hard, play
Play hard.
We're trying to like
Podcast hard.
I mean, like, it's that Aussie battler idea, right? It's we're out there doing what we can with what the time that we have. You know, we still work 5 days a week just like everybody else. We have the weekends to decide what we want to do with gigs. We have the weekends to decide if we want to record. We're still sort of up in arms about our next recording, which I'm not going too much into about, but we're still sort of, can we get our weekend where all 4 of us can do it? Because all our schedules are work based, and all our schedules are we do what we do. So it's hard for us sometimes, but that also is kind of the appeal of Roadhouse at the same time, is that we are the
Having a
Aussie
break
rock
from
band
real
where
life.
we fucking go hard. And when you see us on the weekend, we could have worked, like last Friday, I worked all fucking day. I taught classes all day for little legends. I won't say the next one. Little legends. And like I was tired as hell. And then we go and fucking we play till 1 a.m. You know, that's kind of what we do.
The Roadhouse way.
That's the Roadhouse way. It's a full fucking day.
So when people are asking their friends, being like, "Oh, is anybody still a real rock and roll band these days?" Because like everybody goes to bed at 11 o'clock on a weeknight at the latest. If you play in a band, like, you know, you're done by 10:30, you load out, you get home, you're home by 11:30, and you go straight to bed. These motherfuckers right here, they're the motherfuckers that are real rock and roll, right? You know, they work a full-time job teaching fucking kids that probably don't give them the right fucking respect that they should. Let's be honest.
They learn.
Yeah, these are the word
they little Hulkamaniacs?
here, but you all know what we mean, right? Yeah. They're going from that being drained of their entire soul all day, doing whatever the fuck they're doing, and then they get home, and instead of being like, all right, I'm gonna have dinner and go to bed, I'm gonna load my car up. I'm gonna drive to the venue. We're gonna set up. We're gonna do sound check, and I'm gonna rock these motherfuckers world for the next 2 hours or hour or however the fucking long you guys pay.
It sounds funny when you put it like that, but to us, that's just our
just
life.
life.
That's just
Yeah,
what we
well,
do.
that's just
That's
rock
Like
and
I said,
roll,
you guys are fucking real rock and rollers.
Thanks, bro.
I don't know anybody else
you.
that does that. I don't. Everybody's
I
like, oh
think
man.
I've got your new shirt, Roadhouse, Real Rock and Rollers.
Yes.
I think that's it.
Speaking of real rock and rollers,
On the back,
how
on the
did
back,
you guys
real rock and
become
roller.
so close with Whiskey Grin?
So, I mean, I hope Zach will back me up on this story. 'cause-
We'll ask him. Don't worry about it. We'll ask him.
If he remembers.
Zach
Yeah.
used to follow my old band Pyromance.
Oh, yeah, no, he was telling me about this. Yeah, he'd rock up
good.
underage.
I
with
don't want to
Pyromancer
come off the
gigs,
field.
yeah.
But like, so he used to follow us around, and not like in a bad way, or like we you know, he's a groupie or something. But he used to like our stuff, and God forbid, I don't know why, but we were young and we tried our best, and it was what it was. But then, I mean, I think we just ran into each other when he was with Whiskey Grin. And he told me that story because before that I was like,
Yeah, he told me. I remember he was telling us at before that fucking interview we were talking about earlier.
like it was just so strange. I'm like, man, I don't remember much from the old Pyromance days. Let's call it a spade. You're a young man in a band that we were doing pretty well, but not like what you want. But yeah, it was fun. And let's not.
And not to keep
It was
going.
fun. It was fun. Not to go into too many details.
Yeah.
But I think Zach he was young. I think he was like 16
Yeah,
or
he
something.
said he was sneaking in underage.
Yeah, so he used to come to our shows and he thought that was super fun. Like,
Yeah.
and then with knowing that me and Anthony were always super cool. Like, I mean, I've been off my face completely. And I'm still nice to people. Like, if you want me to be nice to people, give me a couple of beers. Like, if I'm generally nicer when I'm drunk.
Oh,
So
same.
yeah. So I think that's probably what Zach sort of realized. And then he was like, oh, then we got this sweet band. But as soon as we heard Whiskey Grin, we were like, oh, we'll tour with these guys. They're like the
really
Rolling
good
Stones
rock
to
and
our
roll, man.
AC/DC.
Yeah,
Really
that's
good.
always
Yeah.
sort of the way I've thought of it, basically.
Yeah, I don't know too many other Brisbane bands that play like old school rock and roll like Whiskey Grin used to, and you guys
Rest in
do.
peace, Port Royal.
I have a different story to meeting Whiskey
Yeah.
Grin that's outside of Dan's
Yeah.
experience,
course.
and that
Not all
was
about me.
through Port Royal. Through
Yeah.
playing, I can't remember right now, but we were either playing with Port Royal or I was at a Port Royal gig.
Yeah.
And Whiskey Lawson who was the lead singer at Port Royal at the time.
Check out his new
We
band,
went
Big
to-
Wheels.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. We were going to. I was hanging out with him, and we were going. Brought me and my roommate Ben. You know Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
One of our
birthday's
childhood
coming up
friends.
soon, guys.
And we
Everyone
went
sent
to a
presents
house
to the
party
following
out
address.
in North Brisbane, and
Yeah.
there was a whole bunch of. I remember meeting Zach that night, but
Yeah.
a whole bunch of the Port Royal crew, and you were probably there, Quentin. But I
100%
have
you
a
would've been
real vivid memory from this night.
You look
and,
back at like gig photos from like 1950s, and Quinton's in the back. about to
It just
start a
seems
bit.
that way.
In a Dune Rat shirt.
Yeah, it's like
We should do that
He's
Photoshop.
reincarnated every time as the exact same person that just goes into a crowd and starts a fucking shit show.
I've just one story from this party that like is stuck out for. I'll remember this for the rest of the time. Like me and my friend went there, having beers, having a great time, whatever. And like, but there's this group of the Whiskey Green crew who are all like. There's this new type of drinking game I've never heard of, but like if you
Sounds about right.
if you lost the round, you would have to get your beer that was full and uncracked and smash it into your forehead
nah.
and
Yeah,
crack
I
it
remember
open,
this one. I
then
don't
chug
remember-
it all.
Yeah,
I
chug it all.
wasn't.
And me,
yeah.
I was like, I went there
I
with
wasn't at
my
this
friend
party,
Ben.
but yes, no, I
Dude,
do remember.
I'm
hearing the
sure
game.
you knew this shit.
Yeah.
Like this was definitely an established ritual.
Yeah, the
And,
BGS, that was
It'd be
fucking
like
crazy back
it's
in
a
the day.
big circle of like people fucking arcing up, but like in a
Ah.
friendshipy way. You
Yeah.
know, they're not actually angry at each other, but they're arcing up.
This
like,
would have been
hard.
at least
And like
at
you're
the
like,
late.
3, everyone cheer, smash, and then they'd
Yeah.
smash the alcoholic beverage on the head in a big can, and if you smash it open, then you chug the beer,
Yeah.
and then it was like to the next.
At the
person.
latest, this was 2017, maybe earlier than that. But yeah, no, I do remember this being told about.
I
This
think I prefer the shoey at this point.
yeah.
I love the shoey. Big fan
I'll
of the
tell ya,
shoey.
I-
I have a
You and
Tui
only
Vasa.
you.
Hey.
I have a Tui Vasa plastic shoe. The shoey, the Tui, whereas it's a funnel with like basically a yellow crock around it. You pour the beer into this thing. You just open the funnel and you drink it. That is the direct branding of Tuivasa, one of the top heavyweights from the UFC, who's from New Zealand but lives in Sydney and is from Sydney. Yeah, his family's from New Zealand, but he lives here, right? And so he's half nut.
Can I blow your mind about the shoey?
Yes, go
So,
for it.
everybody that's listening right now, I don't know if it works in America, but in Australia, if you Google Splendor Mankini, and I'm telling you right now, do it. I'm the first 3 photos on Google Images.
I love it.
If
I
we
want a
had
meme about this.
If we had $1 for every
Hey,
time
mate,
Jed
hey,
told
yeah.
this story, we'd be able to cover the entire cost of this podcast.
So,
Boom.
it's me in
Tell
a
me you
green
guys are famous.
mankini.
It is a beautiful
Nothing else
picture, I'm
on.
not the
right?
same.
Like the Borat.
The Borat mankini,
Yes,
the
yes.
green
That's
one,
how my
same as
reference
his,
for it.
right? I'm on the shoulders of another guy in a green Borat mankini that I just met that day, and he's on the shoulders of his brother wearing a red mankini, who I'd also just met that day. So I'm 3 people high. I'm the biggest of the 3 of us, and I'm 3 people
big
on this
guy.
stack, and
tall. Yeah.
I'm like, didn't have my shoes off, nothing. I was like, and everyone's chanting shoey. And so I'm just like, I don't have a shoe. I don't have a beer.
Someone give me a shoe.
And then all of a sudden, this fucking Converse, this high top Converse comes flying in my face and I catch it.
So good.
All right? And all of a sudden, this Master Food spice shaker comes flying at my face and I catch it, full of raspberry vodka. So I've got this random shoe, this Converse high top off somebody that just threw me a shoe, and this Master Food shaker full of raspberry cordial. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, here we go.
Let's go.
So I poured it straight in the shoe, going to fucking guzzle it down my throat. All right, got a bit of raspberry red cordial and vodka and mud. This shoe was full of mud. Straight into
You're
my
at a
throat.
festival, right?
I'm
You're at a festival.
throat
Flanders of all
open,
places.
sculling this
Mud.
shoe.
Mud.
Right? And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I was high as shit at the time, and I was just like, fuck yeah. And there's this photo that's on Google. Check it out later. But
I'm
yeah.
kidding. I don't give a fuck. That was awesome.
Jed was banned from Tinder over this photo.
I was. So I got down from this
Oh,
three.
Tinder. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm on.
I got down from this 3 stack, and all of a sudden this guy just grabs me at the back of the mankini. All right, this is literally 2 straps over my shoulders, 1 over my groin. This dude just grabs it by the back and starts carrying me through the crowd, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm turning around, it's just this cooked ass dude just being like, I'm having time. All of a sudden, mankini snaps. Right?
You're just naked.
There is
Naked.
35,000 people at the amphitheater at Splendor
You're naked.
in the middle of the day, and
Butt
I am naked.
That's
and
crazy.
keep in mind, Splendor is an all ages festival.
Dude,
So,
someone give me a t-shirt.
so I'm like holding myself over my groin. Like, I don't know what the fuck to do right now. I'm starting to fucking panic. And you know how Captain Morgan's always sponsoring them? Everyone's
Yeah.
got Captain Morgan hats on.
I'm gonna
This
piss
one
on me.
motherfucker
Fucking go.
in the circle that was moving the fuck away from me because I'm naked throws me a Captain Morgan hat. So all I have is a Captain Morgan hat over my
Hey, it's
throat.
better than fucking nothing.
That's some
Yeah.
good marketing, really.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and so I
Captain
had,
Morgan's
I had a
got you
pair of
covered.
footy shorts tied to the back of the mankini, but the guy that ripped it off threw it into the crowd. So I've got a Captain Morgan hat over my.
Well, of course,
My-
so you just in case that something happened,
Yeah,
you still
yeah.
have a pair of shorts.
Well,
Yeah, that
I mean,
makes
I had to go through a security check from camp.
Yeah,
and all that sort of
okay,
stuff, walk
so
past the
that
police and all
makes
that sort of
sense.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got this Captain Morgan hat over my fucking jet area. We'll call it. So, and I'm just, I'm like pushing
you're
my way through the crowd,
man
and moving
cock.
out of my way like I'm fucking Moses trying to walk through the fucking Red Sea. And moving out of the way. And I'm just looking for this mankini because I know that there's a pair of fucking footy
It's
shorts.
referred to as a walk of shame.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a woman thing that was invented by women, but then Jed experienced
Yeah,
it.
I experienced it firsthand. So I'm walking through this crowd, and then I find it, and I've untied it. I had to like one hand on the Captain Morgan hat, right? And then I put my foot on the side of the pants and pulled the rest up, and then I had to put them on. So I had to lift my legs up to put the pants on with one hand, and I'm like halfway up trying to get it on, still holding this fucking hat over my pants, and I was like, I reckon if I can do this quick, it's no worse than it has been. So I just dropped the hat, picked the pants up, slid them on, ran the fuck out of the crowd, and didn't think about it again for about an hour.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, it
I
was,
find that fascinating. It's like, I mean, the amount of drugs, let's call it spade a spade. We can edit this out as well. But if I was doing the same thing that you were doing,
yeah.
which isn't out of the realm of possibility, mine would be a thumbnail in a bush.
Thumbnail in a bush.
So I can imagine the fear of, I'm fucking naked. Usually I'm much more than I am, or much more than I am right now, but I've done a lot of, it's a little different. So,
Smelling flowers.
Smelling flowers.
Yeah.
So, but I know that I can understand that panic. I've been in. I had to sit down
So
with a
what
girl
was the point of the
sometimes.
story again? Why did Jed start going on about the mankini? I feel like we've quite
He just
lost-
needed to flex that he's
Yeah, I
got
know.
this sick.
I feel like
It's
we've
a great
quite-
story. I don't even
I
care.
feel like we've quite lost the point
Yeah.
of the story. It was related to something once. I don't quite remember what it
I don't know
was.
where we're
We're
at.
definitely
I don't
inebriated.
care. It was so.
Yeah. All
I
right.
just enjoyed
All right,
the whole story.
whatever the mankini story was about, the last segment we usually have, we just go around the table and we sort of just shout out artists that we've been listening to a lot recently. You know,
I'll go good one.
they might be
Can they be
obscure artists,
overseas
and you want to
too?
be able
Yeah, like
everyone,
anyone you've been
basically,
listening to, you can
like-
have a
My
few.
favourites at
Yeah.
the moment. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll start with our guest first. Chris, what have you been listening to? Who are some artists you'd like to shout out?
Can you stop?
No, I can't. Did you want to go first? Because you sounded like you had a bit of an idea.
I'll go. If you're still thinking, mate.
You can grab your phone
go
and
ahead,
check
Dan.
Spotify
Yeah.
if you like.
So there is a German rock band that I would say an avid fan of. I ordered my T-shirt off their website. Let me call myself the Hardbone fan of Australia. There's a German rock band called Hardbone out there. If you like AC/DC, if you like Airborne, you're gonna love Hardbone. They have a album. I mean, the new album's probably their best. Let's just say, No Frills is like their best album, I could say. But my personal favorite, because of just the hard sheerness, I didn't even know we were German because they sing in English. But it's not like the Queen's may she rest in peace. The Queen's English, but it's he like sings well, but it's amazing. And I had to look it up, and someone's like, "Yeah, they're German." I'm like, bullshit. And then I looked up, and I'm like, "Oh no, they're literally touring Germany right now and are from Germany." But to me, I was like, whatever. I mean, that's awesome. My family's from Germany, and that's badass. But it's almost like AC/DC is going to retire, and they're going to move on soon, right? We can all understand. I was surprised it didn't happen like about 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know, it
Malcolm
almost
went,
was, yeah.
And Brian
They've
went.
still got to pay bills, and none of them are going to go work at Coles.
They live the way they live. They have a certain amount of money coming in, and they live the way they live.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, yeah, I find that fascinating. That's like, so AC/DC are going to go. Airborne have taken that role as the new AC/DC. But then there's Hardbone, who would love both and just do it. And they're so cool. And every time I like their stuff on Instagram, anytime I comment on anything, they like my comment. They message me back. I bought their t-shirt. I posted the t-shirt, me wearing the t-shirt as a selfie. They give me everything. And they're fucking from Germany. I was on the Lagerstein's podcast, Lagerstein, the pirate metal band.
Yeah.
We were all on there, and we played a show at the what they call something fun.
We should
Right
get
side,
Lagerstein
back
on.
up.
That
Yeah,
would be
alright, yeah.
We do beers. Like, that makes sense.
You think we're in the chats are bad? You be fucking.
We have to do that one at 3 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, we would.
But no, like I remember just saying, like, because we had German fans like coming up on their live stream, and they were like, "Oh, you like Hardbone?" I'm like, I will smash people for that band. They're
I've got to
fucking
say,
awesome.
I'm not crazy about the name.
Dude, you got to
Hardbone.
see the album cover for their album. I think it was their second or third album, Hardbone. So it's a guy who's holding a pair of breasts.
Yeah.
If I can't say what the word I want to say,
You can say what you need to.
tits. And his
don't fucking
hand is
swear on my
tattooed
podcast, bro.
Hardbone. Like, the finger's tattooed Hardbone. Above it, sorry, I take that back. The album cover is Hardbone. On his knuckles are tattooed Bone Hard.
Oh.
And he's like got her tits. It's all black and white, and they're not too big, they're not too small. They're
Perfectly
asymmetrical, and he's got them, and you're like, this is exactly what I want out of my music. As soon as I saw the album cover, I was like, buy. and then I put it on, and I was like, yep. This is exactly what I wanted. This is what I thought.
Do you want to know what the most drilled into my brain thing when I was studying music business was? Sex sells.
100%.
Yeah, look at the Strokes album
Yeah.
cover for Is This It?
It's really hard to be a obscene album when, in where's Mayhem? In Norway,
Norway, yeah.
they're releasing fucking
Mayhem, Dead
Mayhem,
Blue blows
Mayhem.
his fucking brains out, and they use it for a
The album
bootleg,
cover.
a bootleg album cover. Yeah, someone used that
God.
photo. So I've gone on
up
about.
there, I imagine it's pretty hard to like
exactly.
boobies,
To top,
whatever,
to
mate.
top.
I'm always
top
a
the
big
Mayhem
fan of
bootleg.
the Death Grips album.
Where it's just the Zach Hill's fucking dick.
That's
No
amazing.
Love
They
Deep
can do
Web.
that over
Yeah.
there. Like, they must have like, we have hard censorship over here.
When
I
you
know.
Google it, it's like generally censored. Like when you're on like a
True.
site and you're wanting to buy it, it's like blurred out and stuff.
Wow.
But
Like even if you bought it on an overseas
you'll get it.
eBay
No,
or
it
anything.
will be like it'll come to you that way, but it'll be blurred out when you like purchasing it.
Wow.
They just can't put the photos on the
Yeah.
website in Australia.
That whole
Of course
story
they can. Of course
was
they- I mean,
they
not of course
signed
they
to
can,
a
but they-
major-ish
Not the
label,
guy who was doing the
and they
computer
wouldn't
work.
let them
Yeah.
release
Well,
the
they were saying
album
Google
yet.
status,
So, or
they
how
did.
they wanted to do it. So they released it for free, and the hotel that the label put them up in is where they took the photo of the dick. Like you can see the bathroom stall kind of thing. And yeah, they just wrote No Love Deep Web and just released it for free anyway. Like just fuck the label.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, for fuck's sake, like it's so amazing how many bands have had this idea. Dispatch, I remember, were a big band who were a Napster generation, and they play very soul, very sort of folksy sort of music, and all they did was sell tickets. They would like, you guys can get all that music from Napster, and Napster's like old now. People don't even know what that is, but that's an old thing. But yeah, they were like a big people like. They'd be like, "Can you guys get more security?" They'd be like, "We're a small." It'd be like the Triffid, and 10,000 people would show up.
Oh, fuck.
Because people love their music, and that's the way it went. And they were a very interesting band. But I mean, I imagine that there's like a lot of bands these days who are taking like that sort of just
alternative
release it,
media route.
and then we'll make our money off, because you're not making anything off
They were
Spotify
jumping
anyway.
way
Yeah,
ahead of,
exactly.
like, 'cause
Yeah,
music's
we've
free
got
these
negative
days,
$10 from Spotify, so yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. It's a bit like you're paying money to be on these services, and they understand that as a business. I mean, let's not get into it. But yes, Hardbone fucking rock.
All right, Chris, what have you been listening to?
Dudes, I want to apologize for freezing up before. Like, when you asked me that question, I was like, for some reason, in my head, I was like, this is a big question. Or like, it felt like that to me. And I was like,
Oh, it, every
dude,
week
it
I
really
have to check
did.
my Spotify.
Yeah, and for some reason I thought I had to mean something or like say a really fucking. It's so stupid, but that's how my fucking brain. went
Quentin
at the moment.
basically mentions a doom metal band every time.
A black
death-
metal,
a
a black metal
You're
band
a
or a
Quentin.
stoner metal
He'll-
band.
Meanwhile,
always
I'll
starts
mention
with, like, I'm
Blink
sure you
pretty
don't
much
listen to
every
these.
time. Yes.
Chris is very
It's
thoughtful
Blink
though.
again.
Chris is very thoughtful. He
Yeah,
puts
like-
he does put a lot of thought into everything
I do,
he has to
have,
say.
I do
so-
have an answer for you though, and it's
John Cena.
No, this is-
Honestly, I had that album as a kid and I loved it, and I go back to it and I'm like, there's some. Good
I don't
songs
know
on it.
every single word to Word Life. It's fine.
I know every single word to There Is and Bad Bad Man.
Oh wow! I can tell you. Anyway, Chris, finish
Sorry.
your fucking.
We're being bad.
Thank you for the
All right,
research.
the song, and look, this is what I've been listening to. It's like one of these Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
Nice.
we went fully like left
That's
field.
awesome.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
Dude.
Jeez, he's a good singer, isn't he?
My
He is
dick
amazing. He
is
is
rock hard now.
Yeah, I know.
That's all it
Very
needed. 2
seductive,
words.
Chris.
My God.
This man, he bought me a Frank Sinatra book secondhand. Now, I listened to Frank Sinatra, and it's one of these funny things. We're in a fucking rock band, and both of us love Frank Sinatra. It's a very
Frankie
interesting.
Bros.
I feel like My Way, if you change the instrumentation, that could be a fucking rock song.
I'm-
Because the lyrics are basically
I
like, I'm
like-
the fucking best.
To bring it back to The Simpsons, I love The Summer Wind, and this is how I got into Frank Sinatra, is because when Martin Prince gets stripped and his whole pool gets disintegrated, The Summer Wind comes in as the credits play, and I'm like, I don't know who the song's by. My mum just goes, it's Frank Sinatra, and then I was like, oh, I know that they mention him in pop culture, right? I know of that, and then so yeah, that's how I got into Frank Sinatra. So how did you get into him?
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it the same episode?
Absolutely.
Fuck yes.
Oh,
This is one of my best
Some of
friends.
the best
This is one of my
content we've
best
had on
friends.
OnlyBands so far. At least the best inside
It's funny
joke,
how
hands
media
down.
influences your music interests and
Oh,
stuff.
dude. How much Simpsons influenced mine pop culture? How much
Yeah.
have you guys ever had where you've had pop culture? Sorry. You've had knowledge where you thought you knew it from Simpsons, and then suddenly you realized
It's real life.
Simpsons, well, just fucking
Used it,
reference
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was definitely a time in my life where I realized this happened. You know, I thought I knew all these like narratives from Simpsons,
That's a
but
story.
it's actually from they're literally ripping off movies, etc.
Yeah.
and, like,
It's funny.
myths and everything.
I thought
funny
Drederick,
that then
I thought
all-
Drederick Tatum was
all
a
stories
real
like
boxer.
It's funny you say that. Like, I just started rewatching South Park from the beginning again, which I haven't done since I was probably like 14,
Right.
13, 14. And the amount of like real life scenarios, like the realization that they're actually putting like a lot of US politics into the show, a lot of like the gay marriage thing. And I'm just like, I'm watching it for the first time since I've actually been aware of reality. And then like,
Jed spent like the first 18 years of his life in a fantasy
I grew up in
world.
the country, and I
There's a point you wake up.
Yeah,
It takes
there's
a while.
Yeah,
It does.
It's
It does.
like I wasn't. It took me a long
Took
time
me
to
till fucking
get
30.
You know,
Yeah.
as the kids say now, woke.
Who knows if I'm even
South
awoke
Park's
now?
fucking old now. It'd be
Yeah.
like, what would it be? Like
96,
23
It's in season
years old or
24.
something?
It started
Well, there
in
you go.
92
At
4, but then
Yeah.
I think the show started
96,
96.
something like it was
Yeah,
like it was.
yeah,
Like,
that's
I remember by
right.
1999, it was like the biggest show on TV outside of Monday Night Raw. But
Yeah,
that's either-
I started watching South Park when I was 10. Like, I was religiously watching. I was staying up late to watch it on SBS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those were the fucking days.
allowed to.
Yeah,
I wasn't allowed to.
I wasn't
but
allowed to- I did it
I had
anyway.
divorced parents.
I wasn't allowed to watch
so-
The Simpsons. I wasn't
No
allowed to watch
enforcer.
Family Guy. I wasn't allowed to watch American Dad, or I wasn't allowed to watch South Park.
Dude.
I could only ever watch it at friends' houses.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I was like maybe 16 that I was able to have a TV in my room and a computer, and I started watching all of them by myself.
I did the same thing. I went to my friend's place in Cloncurry. We hired the South Park movie from
classic.
Bubble Video, which no one knows what that is because it was the chicken place,
Of
the
course.
video place, and just the general hardware. So you were there. And
Really? They should bring it
This
back.
is Bob Catter's
You know what
fucking
they had?
town.
They had
Mortal Kombat and WCW Monday Night Nitro on
Classic.
Nintendo 64, which you could hire out. Like, you remember you could hire things that had 2 hires?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
Do you remember when
recipe.
Video
Anyway.
Easy did the deals with like Pizza Hut, where you could go and buy 2 large pizzas, garlic bread,
And
and
then
a
you
drink
could
for like
get
$26 and get a
Video.
7-day
Yeah,
weekly?
yeah.
Yeah, like a weekly rental from the video store.
Getting rentals and pizza was
Yeah.
fucking my
All I'm going to
childhood.
say, the day I called my dad an ass Wonka, which I still don't know what that means. I was a whipping that I don't want to forget. I was like, I was not allowed to watch South Park, but the day I referenced it to him, it was a very bad day.
My dad always thought South Park was funny, like Eastern European. Oh, it's a show about like kids making fun of America. Loved it.
It makes sense though, like, it does, right? It is just them being like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Do you guys remember when the Family Guy movie came out? And like
I don't watch Family
probably
Guy.
2012.
Family Guy's low tier.
Joey's probably at home
2013.
watching Family Guy right now.
Yeah.
Season
So-
maybe 4.
Yeah, there's
I-
about 4, and then you're like,
So
same
I,
jokes again.
I watched a bit of Family Guy at like friends' houses, but I was never allowed to watch it at home. When the movie
was
came
too
out, everybody was always talking about it. So I said to my parents, I was like, I really want to watch this movie. And this is in the days of like, if you wanted to see something, you ask your dad's friend to burn a DVD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's how I
So-
got the chocolate starfish.
Yeah, so I asked my parents if I could watch this movie, and they're like, "Oh, we'll see." So they ended up getting a copy of like a burned copy of it, and they're just like, "All right, we're gonna watch it first, and if we don't like it, we won't let you watch it." And I was like, "All right." And then so they watched it the next day. They're just like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let you watch that."
Yeah.
And I was just like so fucking mad because I'd seen it a few times, and I was like, I feel like you guys would. But now that since I've been older and I've rewatched everything up until that movie, you realize that everything up until that movie was kind of, nowadays PG, not 2009 PG, but 2022 PG.
This is a different world.
Yeah,
It's a different world. Like, it's only been a couple of years.
As soon as you get to that movie, it's straight up MA. Like the first 2 minutes of it, they're talking about like sex and rape and all this sort of shit because they're walking down the red carpet going to watch their own movie, and that's the start of the movie.
But I just feel like the whole idea of classification is the idea of your maturity level.
Yeah.
So if someone makes a joke that you don't like, then you can just go,
Look,
I don't like that movie. Whereas now it's like, you can't make that joke.
I
Whereas
got
like,
grounded for saying fight when I was 13, if that puts a little perspective into my
wow.
parents.
You got grounded when you were what? How old?
13 for saying fart.
My God, dude. I've never been grounded in my life. My dad used to just whip me. The best part about it. The best thing.
I feel like I got off easy.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was the best. Like, you do something stupid, and after he smashed you a couple of times, you'd be like, yeah, I get it. And then, like, he would come to you at fucking, like, 5:30 afternoon and be like, dinner time, mate. And I'd be like,
This
alright.
just turned into another King podcast.
But I'm just saying, it's like,
Yeah.
it was, like, the best part about it.
And I
was
was
I
like,
liked it
never
when my
held a
dad
grudge.
whipped me.
Never held a grudge. You
Yeah.
fucked up, he fucked you up, carry on.
No, my dad's a straight up boomer. Like,
Yeah.
I'm 26, and he's over 70 now. I've stopped keeping count. But he's a boomer. Hardcore. Dad, I fucking hope you don't listen to this shit anymore.
Oh, he gave up 20 minutes into the first episode. Don't
Yeah,
worry
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. All right, now before we
I don't
get
think any of our
before we
parents
get fucking sidetracked onto stories about our childhood, because I'm sure
you.
both
Yeah,
me
I
and
was
Joseph
gonna-
have plenty, being ethnic people.
My
We
dad was
should.
chill. He would just
Yeah.
smash my computer if I didn't do what he said.
It's fucking up.
Once I was up till like 3, 4 in the morning playing WoW, and he told me to go to bed, and he fucking came in, and he was just so
It's
mad.
Whoa.
No, it's WoW.
I
And then he just fucking came in. He was so mad. He just like flipped my whole desk and my computer. The next day, he
You're
felt
about
so
to roll
guilty.
on
He
the
bought me a
lead.
new computer.
That's so
Oh,
fucking
well, at least
hilarious.
he felt guilty about it. But Joseph, aside from Blink 182 and other roughly equivalent pop punk bands, what have you been listening to lately?
You've just called me out.
So nothing.
No,
got a bit
like
sidetracked there.
the new Slowly album that just
Yeah,
dropped
sick.
like a couple
Oh,
days
yeah.
ago. I love it. I think they're probably one of the most underrated Australian acts in the like pop punk indie rock sort of vibe. I think they actually have huge potential for like an international market because the lead vocalist, one, he's stunning. Two, his vocal chops are pretty incredible, and lyrically he writes like poetic music. So really nice stuff. Other than that, the new Chili Peppers album I've been listening to a fair bit. I really like it more than I like Unlimited Love that came out this year as well.
Yeah, they're doing a Gizzard multiple albums in a year. Imagine that.
I think they just had a really productive COVID
they
period.
probably did.
Like, couldn't tour or anything, and I think they just smashed tunes. Frusciante comes up a little better in this album. So does Flea, and Anthony has some lyrics that make sense. So it's always good.
Well, that's an achievement. I'll be real.
Yeah. So that's been cool. And other than that, Basement. I've been listening to a lot of Basement. I love Basement. They kind of like.
He's also been learning a bit of it on guitar.
Yeah, I have been. I've been learning a few Basement songs. Yeah,
Let's jam later.
Yeah.
Can we jam?
Yeah, absolutely.
probably a bit
Go.
late for a Wednesday.
All right.
Oh yeah, fuck. Sorry.
If it was a Saturday.
It was a Thursday when we did the chat one, and they came in here and they recorded our theme song. So
If you like, you can grab that guitar and you can sing us an OnlyBand.
not now. We're gonna
intro
finish this.
at
But
the
yeah,
end of
if
the
you want to,
cast.
if you want to. All right.
And we'll play it at the start of the
yeah.
episode.
Yep.
What about you, Jed? What have you been listening to?
So I've been really listening to Enter Shakiri lately. Because I
Yes.
got a friend, one of my really good friends from New Zealand is coming over to Australia to go to their whole tour in Australia.
Nice.
And he messaged me probably about 2-3 months ago and said, "Hey, look, I'm coming over there. Can I come stay with you in Brizzy?" And I was like, "Yeah, easy." Said he was going to the show, and I was like, "Yeah, cool." I've heard of them, didn't know too much about them. Started like playing them pretty much on repeat for a little while, just to sort of get into it. You're gonna pay $80 for a show. You're like, "Oh, I want to get into this before I go." So started listening to them quite a bit. Few songs came back to me just in like sort of like I remember listening to this as a kid, but never knew who they were. But some of their music's really good. I'm gonna say some of it's not so good. But some of it is really nice, and it's nostalgic, it's fun, it's easy to listen to. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been listening to for the last probably 2 weeks solid.
Fuck. It's
Yeah.
been blank. It's been a month.
Yeah.
Blink, it's been a month.
Yeah, since they announced that tour, I haven't listened to much else.
Yeah.
He told me I'm not allowed to say that, but
That's fair.
I work from home, right? So I listen to music like 8 hours a day. So when I say I've been listening to Blink for like 4 weeks,
He's
I mean
been listening
6
to-
hours of
yeah,
Blink a
6
day,
hours
like
of Blink.
comfortably.
I love
I
it.
love the old
Yeah.
albums. Like for me, Dude Ranch and Shishai Cat and Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, like fucking sick. And then even the new stuff, I don't even hate it. It's just catchy
No,
and
just
fun.
give it a fucking go, right?
It's fine.
Yeah, I've the same band like that's called Judas Priest.
Yeah.
They got fucking great shit. And when they stopped making it in like what 2018, Firepower, still fucking good. If you want to listen to metal,
Yep.
Judas Priest still play fucking metal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Um,
And then I guess Quentin.
Yeah, for me, on Sunday, I saw a band called Stoner, actually composed of two of the former members of a band called Caius, who were probably one of the original stoner metal sort of bands. Unfortunately, Nick Oliveri, who also used to play in Queens of the Stone Age, they wouldn't let him into the fucking country. Australia's a bit shit when it comes to giving out working visas, so it was just Brant and Ryan playing as a two-piece, but they were fucking good. And the opener band, Mario Lally, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and the Rubber Snake Charmers was also a good one. They only played the two songs, but both songs were 15 minutes each. It was this really
Fucking
weird improvisational thing. The front man is actually Sean Wheeler, and he comes and it's like he's delivering like a punk rock sermon. He's reading out of this book and he's just fucking just ranting on about all this stuff, and he'll ask the crowd things, and whatever the crowd repeats, he'll work it into the song afterwards.
That's sick.
He asked this random dude, "What country are you from?" And then the dude was like, Sunshine Coast, and he works Sunshine Coast into the rest
I
of
love
the
that
song.
country.
Yeah.
It's like it's the biggest country.
It's my
that I-
favorite country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, Sean Wheeler and Mario Lowland's Rubber
That's
Snake Charmers
cool.
was great. Stoner was great, even though they didn't let Nick into the country. And unfortunately, they've just finished their Oz tour and they're about to set off to New Zealand. Even though they didn't let Nick into Australia, he did get his visa approved in time for New Zealand. But apparently, the rest of the band thought it'd be too expensive to fly him over just to do the 3 shows in New Zealand. That's already kicked off some beef. And if anyone knows the history of Caius, all the members hated each other, then loved each other again, then hated each other. Like, it's been a bit of a constant cycle. It's taken them this long to be cool with each other again. Now there's more drama. So I'm wondering what the future holds for them. But last on Sunday they were like, when we come to Australia again, we're gonna have Nick. It's gonna be like so much better. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm hoping that there'll be a next time and this won't blow up into another fucking years long feud. I'd also like to shout out Waves. Waves, they're not that big in their own fucking country. They're a surf punk indie rock sort of band from the US, if anyone here doesn't know who Waves are. From California. And they're not that big they're not even as big as Violent Soho were over in America basically. But despite the fact they're not big in America, they basically defined Australian sort of surf indie rock. Like, every, surfy, skatey sort of band who plays in Australia now will either quote either Waves or Fiddler as a main influence. And both of these bands are not that big in the US, but over here, everyone and their fucking mum is hugely into them.
I'll check with mum. I don't think my mum's into Waves, but I'll check.
And shit, there was a fucking third. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so when they played Splendor, they didn't.
Should I call my mum live on the podcast right now?
Probably not. It's a bit late.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday.
So
Mum's already in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, third artist. Yeah. So when they played Splendor, they absolutely didn't give a shit, and the set was actually sort of mediocre. But I've been listening to a lot of the Strokes lately. I think it's mostly because I was on acid at Splendor and like the Strokes.
Juicebox, respect to you.
I mean, if you were
Juicebox?
sober at Splendor, you
Was it
would have realised the
Juicebox?
Strokes sucked at Splendor.
Yeah. But the Strokes at Splendor fucking suck, but I was on acid at the time when they were closing, so maybe it just stuck out of my memory. But since then, I haven't been able to stop listening to the Strokes. Their first album, Is This It? Probably their best album, like the album they still play songs from to this day. For a first fucking album, every fucking song on that is a fucking banger. Like, it's by far the most consistent album, and it's sort of why they peaked and they sort of declined, because they essentially released a perfect first album, and everything since then has been hit or miss with everyone. But all the songs they played at Splendor from Is This It have just been stuck in my head.
That's crazy.
Pretty constantly.
Stuck in a trip.
Well, that's a good category for you guys. To go, how many bands have had a fucking awesome debut album, but then the second one hasn't been great.
And you know what? There's been a lot of...
There's been a lot of bands who are like that. Fucking hell.
Off the top of my head, fucking Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's happening with Roadhouse in the next few months?
Mate, we're in the very near future. My friends, we've just come off of Doghouse 5th anniversary edition.
Yeah.
It's been fucking mad, man. Like, re-releasing that song. It's our first song ever. Brought it out once again. Re-recorded, remastered. Like, literally from the ground up. And it's been fucking fantastic. Like, doing a film clip. Fucking bring this out one more time. But moving on, we're going into the studio within the next month. We've got our producer, Sam Woods. Any Brizzy / Australian, anyone around Australia who's looking for a really good, really well-rounded producer. Producing isn't also, it's not always just about your knowledge of whatever genre you're working with. It's about like being able to bring out the passion within people. And with Roadhouse and Sam Woods, it's worked really well. And like generally a lot of people from the Australian Brizzy music scene. And I'd fucking recommend him hard. And either way, we're releasing one of our new songs, Boneyard.
Yep.
We're recording. Boneyard's about being a dumbass motherfucker.
Yeah.
In whatever way that might be with your relationship with your
Surprise.
fucking...
It's always about how we're a dumbass.
Coming back to the start of the podcast.
Can we do a EP that's just dedicated to wrestlers? Like,
Not yet.
not yet, but
yet.
sometime.
Dan's obviously on board.
Yeah.
You
just
should
gotta-
get on
You know,
board.
Yoza will be at every one.
I'm
of
When
only
the
them.
Roadrunner get at us, we'll.
I have a song called DDT,
That'd be
and I
sick.
do have a song called
Spinebuster.
For those of
Undertaker
us that don't know
sit-up.
wrestling, what's DDT mean?
It's not a great name, but if anyone knows what the Undertaker sit-up is, it's going to be fucking heavy as fuck. It's an instrumental.
True.
It's terrible, but I'm writing it, so relax.
I actually don't know what DDT stands for. I think it is just DDT.
Can I
might know?
explain this?
I can
Nobody does, because I don't know what it stands for.
Nah.
And both of us have watched our entire life of wrestling. Jake the Snake Roberts came up with the move and never explained to anyone what it stood for.
DDT.
So is an algorithm? What's the? I'm not smart.
Anagram? No, that's not it.
It's a D stop
Synonym?
D stop T. So what would that be?
Danger, drop, terrible.
Perfect.
All right.
That's exactly what it's called.
Yeah.
TM.
Damn, what are we releasing?
So we're releasing Boneyard. Sorry, fucking hell. Said it that the last wrestling part. So we're releasing Boneyard next week. I'm hoping to start the recording process with Sam Woods, but Sam Woods is the man. Like, I mean, we're gonna record this, release this, and it's gonna be as I don't know if you guys have heard Crack of the Whip. If you got to listen to that one, that's his work. That's us and our work, and it's us getting together and doing it. Like it was unbelievable, the process of that. It was just happy. It was happy the entire time. He's like, do you want to go watch the Broncos game, Dan, while everyone else does everything? And I was like, yes, perfect. That's exactly what I want.
That's what you need.
And then I came back and I was like, holy fuck, this is really good.
Yeah.
So it worked out really well for everyone.
Broncos won, I take it.
I can't remember back that far. It's like,
Did they ever win? No,
I hope they won.
I honestly don't
okay,
know.
at least I can laugh at myself. But no, again, so I think everyone will be pleasantly surprised with Boneyard. It's a fuse of, as I said, the new ideas of music and the old ideas of music, and the riffs are still there, the energy is still there, and you'll enjoy the more complex lyricism. Is that a word? I just made it up.
I
No,
guess you guys should
lyricism
start
is the
calling
word.
yourself the new school rock and roll.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
like that.
maybe that
I
might be
like
the genre that you
new
guys
gen-
that
you
flag
pioneer.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might pioneer the
New
school
rock.
and roll.
New rock.
Right?
New rock. I love
and
it.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you rock.
I'm gonna start rapping.
Yeah, I would love to thank Roadhouse for being such a wonderful
man, I
guest.
fucking love
This
it, eh?
is-
Yeah,
This
thanks
is-
guys
this
so
is-
much for coming on. Really
Anytime.
appreciate it.
I've had literally the best Wednesday of my life since I can
Hey,
remember.
that's
So-
what we do here at Underground.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Sick Wednesdays.
it. Thank you, Jack.
All right.
Alright, see you
See
later.
you all very
losers.
soon.
Thank you. Roadhouse.
On the bands, all in bands, getting fucked as fast as you can. On the bands, all the bands, getting fucked as fast as you can. On the bands, all the bands, getting fucked as fast as you can. All the bands, all the bands. Getting fucked as fast as you can. Subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.